on the bay will be.
Dude, I can't believe it. Dude, TikTok is actually, I honestly, I don't feel good about it. You know, it's a place. How far along are you, Diesel, in my pregnancy? I'm just playing it by ear when you think about it. I okay. So two things past. I have access to the unschooling TikToks. Okay, so for those of you unfamiliar with this, okay, we are talking about a community online that isn't into homeschooling, but is actually into something more extreme than that. Um, and it is really it is okay. Listen, man, this is white woman maxing. I know we got a lot of white girlies. This is white woman maxing. Okay. If I were to describe unschooling to you, where homeschooling is the process of taking a curriculum from a traditional public school education and having the parent as a participatory member in that process from a home. Unschooling is the deliberate act of not having your child participate in schooling and instead teaching them on the basis of what their vibes and intents are. A lot of the things are like reading, right? Where it's like if they're interested in it, I will encourage and teach them it, but I will not formalize the education of it. And the reasoning for this is a few things, right? It's like, okay, this is like if a Waldorf school was for chakra heal. Actually, never mind. Waldorf schools are for that. But like, it's like if instead of a Waldorf school where there would be some education, it's a Waldorf school where they just let you play in the grass all day. Uh, yeah, I actually have the mommy Onami on there. We're gonna get to her. We're gonna get to her. We're gonna get to mommy Onami. Um, but yeah, so all right. Ultimately, from what I've gathered, it is not that, it's a complete lack of a curriculum. Yes, yes. Hot take, you could do school and also fuel your kid's special interest. It doesn't have to be an extreme. Well, the thing is, all right. I think when they say that it's like, focusing on what the kid likes, I think that this is I'm gonna use a word. I'm gonna use a buzzword. I think it is a dog whistle for them wanting to teach things that definitely would not fly in a classroom. Um, for example, one of the moms we're gonna look at today is an anti-vaxxer, which is you get a lot of that with the homeschooling, but at least with homeschooling, you're like required to participate and give them the public school education. Oh, by the way, the anti-vaxxer also doesn't believe in therapy as like a thing. I feel dog whistle isn't a buzzword, but some people would say it's a buzzword. I wouldn't say it's a buzzword. I I don't know how many familiar with Laser Pig. I watched like the first 40 minutes of his video about cultural Marxism. Very interesting, by the way. I highly recommend it. And it definitely did prime me for this topic on stream today. Um, but I can't. I do want to get to the TikTok moms, and I'm gonna get to the TikTok moms. So allow me a divergent move right now because it was put into my recommended. Um, I have just gotten a recommendation to read I Am the Law, which is a book about Judge Dredd, along with the increasing police militarization in the UK in the 70s. I have a feeling you guys get where this is going, as me becoming like a comic pilled kind of person. But Judge Dredd is a critique of the UK's police system in the 70s. And Judge Dredd has continued to become a critique of police brutality into today. And unfortunately, everybody's. I hate this kid. I think he should get hit by a bus, or that he should get like a really bad sunburn. But I got this ranting for vengeance video. It was uploaded 6 hours ago, and I just really need to see what the racist, anti-woke comic guy has to say about it. And I'm sorry, so I need to cover it. I'm sorry, I just need to look at it because I fucking hate this guy. He's so stupid, dude.
So, it's been rumored that we might be getting the long-awaited return of Karl Urban as Judge Dredd, and somehow I think they've managed to make it a woke disaster. But
okay, so I don't want to break this kid's heart, okay? But Judge Dredd was always woke. If anything, Dredd by Adi Shankar with Karl Urban is the least woke Dredd has been, aside from the Stallone version, I guess. But if you've ever looked at a Dredd comic or an Anderson Psy Division comic, you know that that is comedy. So I am quoting another YouTuber who covered this. Not this particular video, but just like what makes Judge Dredd such an interesting character. But in the UK in the 1970s was around the first time that riot shields were used against pedestrian protesters. And it was actually considered a really big escalation of violence there for the police in the 70s. As a result of that, you ended up getting the 2000 AD comics. And the 2000 AD comics are the Judge Dredd comics, which presented the concept of the judges, for if you don't know, right? Basically a streamlining of the justice system where it all comes down to a singular person who is judge, jury, and executioner and has a very good understanding of the law, so much so that they can dish out punishment. The ISO cubes are something you've heard of from Judge Dredd, right? But basically it's prison that is inhumane, and that is a critique of prison, right? That it's very in your face, it's very obvious, right? There's a lot of problems with the idea of like a character like Judge Dredd, because Judge Dredd, while he has all these like ideas and opinions about like the law and how it's like dished out and what is and isn't okay, what makes Dredd a critique of the police is that he is the complete end conversation of what happens when you give police too much power, right? Ultimately, the video essay that I was watching, and I'm sorry I'm doing that annoying YouTuber thing where you quote another video essay. Yes. I just want to prove that I know more about comics than the guy who covers comics. I will say this guy has unironically made me really love comics as like a medium. I've been really trying to go out of my way every time somebody talks about like, I don't know, the woke agenda or whatever, to like participate and like get interested in that thing they're calling woke, to really see if it is or isn't that thing. And literally like every time, except for Dustborn, which is the exception, it really hasn't been woke. And like I said with Laserpig's recent video, which again I do recommend, I like Laserpig stuff. It's cultural Marxism. That stuff is all just like a fill-in for the boogeyman of the day type thing, right? But asking this guy to read comics is too much. I mean, yeah, but I am interested to see where it's going.
Before we get into it, if you want to help out the channel, maybe consider subscribing or becoming a patron. So here's the rumor: Karl Urban returning in Dredd series at Amazon from the boys team. Now there's already so much wrong with that sentence. I'm just gonna say flat out, The Boys not only is woke trash, it also just plain sucks, and it's always been that way ever since the original comic.
Dude, the Pointless Hub video and its consequences. It's been a while since I participated in the Boys comic. I do remember the Boys comic being pretty much the exact opposite of woke. So...
anything got to do with Gareth Ennis is usually garbage. Why do you think John Bernthal's Punisher sucks? And don't even get me started on Preacher and The Boys, which are two of the worst comics.
Preacher is really good. Preacher is a lot better. You can tell Garth Ennis likes that series, and he likes the whole Western occultism thing
you could ever read, yet people keep on recommending them. Now I'm gonna tell the truth, I loved the Karl Urban Dredd movie, but then after reading the comics and becoming a proper fan of Judge Dredd, I realized that the movie wasn't all that great. Now upon a rewatch, I did realize that it wasn't totally terrible. The movie is still really good and better than most superhero and comic book movies.
I think I really do. I did enjoy the Dredd movie with Karl Urban. It didn't really like get into the weeds about why Dredd is. Listen, we shouldn't want somebody like Judge Dredd policing our streets. I know, is that a really simple sentence to say? It is, but you shouldn't want that. All right, and if you're a fan of the comics, you know that it's kind of fucking ridiculous to be like Dredd is become woke.
Some stuff in the movie is accurate to Dredd, but other things go the complete opposite of the character. And forget the character, more importantly, the world. People make fun of the Stallone Judge Dredd movie all the time, but in my opinion, it's probably the better movie out of the two. Stallone is a 10 times better pick for Judge Dredd.
Let me guess. Life.
But in classics like Rambo and especially Cobra, where he just plays a no-nonsense, badass, tough as nails super cop, he basically just is Judge Dredd.
Something gay undertones strike yet again, dude. Why can't we go back to the way things used to be, where men were men and they were buff and fought people and were no-nonsense cool guys who were sexy and fought people and weren't gay and were masculine and had really great pecs? Yes, this is the same guy. You axolotl questions, yes. Was he even alive when that movie came out? No, his dad showed him the movie, and his dad and his mom are divorced. I just made that up, but I mean, if you throw, like, you know, if I throw enough darts at the board, I'm gonna be landing some bullseyes today. This kid will run from every debate ever because he's a scared pussy. Yeah. I don't think I'm well versed enough in comics to debate a character like this. And also, debates don't really solve anything, which is why I'd rather just be like sitting here saying that he sucks ween. But like...
your research, if you're a proper fan of Judge Dredd, you can find out that the original script and idea for the 1995 Stallone movie was much darker and would have been an R-rated, comic-accurate film. So both adaptations do have their problems, so the fact that we could be getting a new movie or TV show, I can't put into words how good this could be if they just got it right. And apparently that's what this is, because years ago when this was announced, it was called Judge Dredd Mega City 1, and it would have been a TV show, which had tons of people excited, including me, until I did my research and I realized that Judge Dredd would be a side character in his own TV.
Oh my god, this guy's about to complain about Anderson. This guy's about to complain about Anderson. I don't even need to tell you how stupid it's going to be that he's complaining about Anderson. Anderson is as much a main character of the 2000 AD comics as Dredd. Okay? They are co-main characters in a setting comic zine from the 70s. Okay? Anderson was so popular, Anderson went on to go have her own separate comic book series about a specific division of the people that are part of the judges. For those of you that don't know, or maybe you don't remember from the Dredd movie, Anderson is another judge that works with Dredd. And she's kind of like the emotional core of the movie. She's a lot more complicated, a lot more human. She's feminine, but she's badass. She's got a lot going on. She deals with a lot more conflicts. Where Dredd is very much set in his ways and his idea of the law, Anderson is really conflicted about that. On top of that, Anderson also fills a very special role in that she is a psychic. Anderson being a psychic means that she can more closely feel the emotions of the people that she is basically either incarcerating or passing judgment on. In the Judge Death comic, where the Four Horsemen judges come and they kill an entire mega block, it is because of Anderson that they are able to stop the judges of death. Anderson puts herself as a conduit for the souls that were all killed by the judges of death to pass judgment on them and seal them away forever. It is not Dredd who saves the day, it's Anderson who saves the day. Anderson is that important that she defeated Judge Death, who is one of the most important characters for Judge Dredd, and his first recurring villain, I believe.
Show. Apparently, from the plot details that we got years ago, it would have been about all these rookie judges starting out across the
And Anderson is a rookie.
city, which, to be honest, just plain sucks. That has nothing got to do with Judge Dredd.
What do you mean? What do you mean? The Judge Dredd comic book series features other judges in it frequently.
Any comic from his inception, it's not about
His dad is also a YouTube content creator. They use the same set background. I need to know who the fuck that guy is right now, right this instant.
rookie judges and random normal judges doing their everyday work. It's about the best judge, Judge Dredd. Did they make the first Dirty
Oh my god, dude. he doesn't. I bet you he thinks a comic book series is Judge Dredd and not fucking 2000 AD.
Harry movie with Clint Eastwood and then go, yeah, who wants a spin-off movie where we just show you the rookies of the police force who aren't nearly as badass? Not to mention the fact that they probably would have found a way to make it woke by making it these female people of color judges who are going around.
Oh boy. And literally you could start at the beginning of Preacher. The show is okay, but it kind of falls off. But
and don't get me any way wrong, because the world of Judge Dredd has...
Well, I will also say Anderson's always been like a pretty person, but she's never had her like biddies out, you know? She's never like, there's definitely some like, you know, fan service, but she's never been like spreading her fucking legs, dude. She's always like she's kind of reserved, honestly.
Tons of room for people of color and women. Some of the best characters in the entire Judge Dredd mythos are female or black. Like Dredd's badass partner, Judge Giant, who was black, but also fought alongside him during the Block Mania, and his son went on to become a big character in the mythos. And then you've Judge Anderson, which is an
Okay, let's see what he has to say about Anderson.
iconic side judge who even got her own comic strip and is
There
as
we
good
go.
as Dredd at
Okay.
times. And Judge Hershey, which is another female character who ranks higher.
So, what's to say that this is an origin story about all of those judges who have like over 40 to 50 years of history?
Above Dredd, she's literally the chief judge, but it's not in some woke way where watch Judge Dredd get bossed around by a woman. And that's why I don't have hope if it's from the same people who made The Boys, because they'd find some way to have Dredd get bossed around. And I'm not gonna...
Who the fuck do you think he answers to? This is like, why is Amanda Waller being such a bitch? Batman is Batman, and he's really cool, and he doesn't take no for an answer. It's like,
get too much into this because I did do a full video on Judge Dredd, but people just call Judge Dredd a fascist character who is
yes, oh my god. All right, guys. Oh boy. Okay. Oh. Interesting. God, I watched a really, I'm sorry, I'm still doing the thing about like, I watched a really good video. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was about, Live from the Black Library. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Live from the Black Library. Chrono the Harlequin, he is a really, really interesting Warhammer creator. And he did a video on whether or not the Imperium is fascist. And he did a really great read up. For doing a hypothetical question about is the Imperium fascist, he did a bunch of reading from fascist thinkers who were just part of the Nazi Party, and a bunch of communist thinkers, and he was like putting it together, and he was explaining how the Imperium exhibits a lot of both Marxist and fascist traits in their governance, but then also that at scale, the Imperium is kind of hard to codify, even though some of the things, seem one way and some seem another. And one of the things that he was saying that differentiated the Imperium from like Nazi Germany was that the Imperium had laws, right? Like if somebody were to come kill you in the Imperium, it might be a kangaroo court, but they still had to justify your execution with a reason, with law, right? So I mean, I could say that Judge Dredd is more Marxist, because the Marxists would need to say that like you're an enemy of a state based on these specific laws, where in a fascist dictatorship they just disappear you, which both happen in the Imperium, which is why it's hard to codify the Imperium into one specific one, right? But it is very easy for a judge in the 2000 AD universe to pass judgment not on the basis of a law, but on the basis of feeling or vibes. Judge Dredd is probably more fascist because nobody can question a judge on their ruling, and a judge can just have people disappeared with impunity and without question. So personally, I'd argue that, and I know I'm making an insane like media comparison here, right? I'd argue Judge Dredd is definitely more of a fascist character based on how judges operate as like a part of a system, right? I just like, you could just change how a judge could just decide to kill you and nobody would be able to question their reasoning.
Inherently evil, and although he's the main character of the comic strip, he's the bad guy. But when you read his first issues where he's taking down tyrannical dictators, the dude isn't really a villain. So anybody who ever says that hasn't really done their research, and they're just
so there's a lot of Judge Dredd comics where he literally does just like, so there's a lot of like the bait and switch things where you think, oh, maybe that person's not really guilty. And then Judge Dredd finds out something or comes across a revelation that shows, no, definitely they are guilty. And he issues judgment on that person, right? But the problem is that it doesn't matter whether or not he issues a correct judgment. The problem is that Judge Dredd gets to issue the judgment. It is not that the person is bad or good. It's that Judge Dredd is judge, jury, and executioner in that judgment, right? Because we live in a society and we believe, at least here in the States, that you should be judged by a jury of your peers. Judge Dredd is not any of the working class, like, people's peers. Period. He's just not. He doesn't work in a gigantic mega building. He doesn't fucking live in a fucking factory and work like 12 hours a day. The people that Judge Dredd is issuing judgments against could be bad people, but it's not his decision. And the problem with Judge Dredd is that he gets to make that decision.
Reading the brand new comics, but that would be the thing that this brand new show would 100% focus on. Here's
I
what
sent you
think
to
they should
that.
do
Okay.
if they are making a new Judge Dredd TV show or movie.
Like, I don't, okay, like, I know that this was not the topic of stream, but this is quite literally such a misunderstanding of why Judge Dredd is such a horrifying concept of a character, Okay? Judge Dredd is cool. I think he's cool. I think his outfit is sick. I think he's an interesting character. I think he's based and badass. But like, brother, this guy gives me the vibes of the covers of the comics are cool, so I consider myself a fan. Well, you know what's interesting? He said he read Invincible, and I had just finished reading it, so I was able to be like, wait a second, you just didn't read it.
Urban. I think that we should get a mix of the Carl Urban movie and the Stallone movie. I think
And you notice how he always references movies or TV shows when he's talking about comics? You guys notice that? It's almost like he doesn't fucking read comics. He watches comic book media and then passes judgment on comic books despite not reading them.
this is a perfect opportunity to make a comic-accurate Judge Dredd adaptation. And in an article just from a few years ago, the boss of 2000 AD said that Dredd's world deserves a TV show, several probably. And that's something that is undoubtedly correct. Judge Dredd isn't a character that has one-off stories here and there that could be adapted. He's a character that could have an entire series of movies like James Bond. Some of the most epic storylines ever told were told in the pages of Judge Dredd, like the Apocalypse War, Blockmania, Necropolis. These are all stories which, if they were adapted into a TV show or movie, people would love them. And if you're somebody who hasn't read the Judge Dredd comics, all I can do is recommend you pick up any Dredd comic and you'll be blown away. If
some of them definitely don't hold up. Some of them definitely don't hold up, but okay.
you liked the Carl Urban movie and thought that he was anyway badass, and you thought that the storyline was cool, that he was taking on a block full of people, times that by 15 and you have the real Judge Dredd. Definitely in my top 5 comic book characters ever, and most people don't even know who he is. So fingers crossed, hopefully.
Okay, buddy. All right. First of all, you're like in the greater UK, Ireland area, okay? Judge Dredd is quite literally one of your most famous comic book exports. People who know comics know Judge Dredd.
We get something from retarded Amazon that isn't total woke garbage. And as I said earlier, if you haven't delved into the world of Judge Dredd or 2000 AD, you should. Judge Dredd is an iconic badass that deserves his own Drocking movie, and screw every single deconstruction and limp-wristed liberal who said
Screw every deconstruction. Judge Dredd is a deconstruction of the police state, buddy. All right? I don't know what to tell you. Like, this isn't a politics thing. Listen, man, if you think police brutality is based, go right ahead. I actually love doing runs of Ready or Not where I shoot everybody in the building. It's a lot of fun, okay? But that's not me passing judgment that that's okay. Like, like, let me in. I will go into the room.
Favorite ginger.
Dude, well, I hate this guy. Every time he talks about comics, he hasn't read the fucking comic.
Did you see his Daredevil Born Again review?
No. What happens with that one? Is he angry at
that one is really funny. Like, there's a whole argument he has. He's like, I don't like how this one scene was shot in the day. Isn't Daredevil supposed to be fighting at night like Batman?
Tuskegee
and it's a scene where his girlfriend gets kidnapped in the middle of the day, so he has to go and save her.
His opinion is invalid.
And I'm sitting there going, you know, there's a whole scene in Batman, right? Like, remember Christian Bale against Bane? Wasn't there a whole fight scene in the streets during the day when the Batman came back to Gotham? Like, this kid's an idiot, man.
He doesn't read or actually like participate in any comics. He just like watches a movie or TV show and then says, this isn't like the comics, assuming that not a lot of people have read the comics. This guy has made me read. Channel? I just got sent to his dad's channel, but he literally, his dad is quite literally grooming him to be a woke content grifter.
An Andy Pan synthetic man love child.
You know what? It's probably where he's came from. He always talks about like based cool men, so.
He shouted out. I think he shouted out Synthetic Man and Andy Pants. Before.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. This kid is like the fucking epoch of like the next generation.
Oh god, this guy fucking.
Wait, have you seen his Batman comic review?
Yeah, that was the first time I was ever exposed to him as a fucking Batman comic review, where he was just like, I don't like that Batman is working class and black, and I'm mad at it.
My favorite part is when he's like, "Newsflash: everyone's afraid of black people." And I was like, "Jesus Christ, kid!" Hold on, I'm
Oh my
setting up.
God.
I finally installed fucking Oblivion, and the music's so loud.
Dude, Todd Howard's getting like he's getting away with too much. He's just selling the same thing
Todd
again.
Howard's gone. Todd Howard is gone. Unreal Engine 5 Bethesda game. Totally Todd Howard can do no wrong.
Did you buy the expensive version with the horse armor or the regular version?
No, I bought the regular version. I buy
Okay.
the whole fucking horse armor bullshit. What are you, crazy? You think I'm that much of a fucking consumerist sucker?
I mean, like you literally just bought Monster Hunter and now you bought Oblivion.
Well, Monster Hunter right now until they add like something new right now. I'm already maxed, so like what more could I do?
Dude,
I just want to hear the guys say cheese for everybody with a new character design, bro. That's all I want in life. Is that too much to ask? I don't think it is.
Well, I can't wait to see what you create, Chris.
It's gonna be horrible, but yeah, I like this ginger kid. He's funny. Wait, why can't I switch my screen? What is this? What? Let me switch to my second screen. Why am I trapped on? Okay, I'm gonna hand.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chris. God. There are loads of comics where both Batman and Daredevil fight people during the day. I just started reading the 2016 refresh of Batman, which is really good, by the way. It starts with like the whole Gotham and Gotham Girl thing, and like I think Batman stops a plane crash during the day. He fights Solomon Grundy during the day, and that's just in the first 3 issues.
As otherwise. And if you got a problem, go complain to your boyfriend, creep.
This guy talks about men and boyfriends and gay sex way too much. By the way, you know how everybody says that here's another thing I learned recently. And it was actually from a he covers like words and like the etymology of words and language, and he was talking about runes, like runes as words and as letters in an alphabet. The guy who so like, you know, Hitler uses a swastika, and everybody says that he took it from like this Asian symbol. It actually came from this guy who was also like a Nazi, but it predates like the existence of the state. And he basically used the runes from like Norse mythology, made his own set of runes, and said, these are the runes of the Aryan people. So this guy made up a whole cosmology and decided to make runes to go along with it, and then attributed it to like this like whole identity of like a superior white race, right? But, you know, like runes fell out of favor because those psychotic fuckers were using runes, and one of the runes was serendipitously the swastika. But yeah, that was something. Fuck, what was his name? He covers like letters. The fucking, hold on, what was it? In defense of Thorn, right? Because he used Thorn letter. Oh, Rob Words. Rob Words was the. I was watching Rob Words' video on runes, and it was this one, why runes are better. And in that one, he was talking about the guy who took runes and then reinterpreted them into his own thing, and basically it got attributed to white nationalism because of that. Very interesting video. I don't watch commentary, if you haven't noticed, which is why I keep referencing all these other things. It was just one of those things that stuck with me because I'm like, that's interesting. But yeah, that was a little bit of a diatribe. It just I was reminded of it because of his the word, like the typeface he's using on here. Here's his dad, by the way, which I was unfamiliar with existing.
It's almost impossible to walk around our
Oh boy, dude. That divorce must have been wild, chat. This divorce must have been wild.
cities here in Ireland.
New evidence, Conor McGregor innocent. Ew. Yikes. Say yikes for me, dog. I dude, the Jewish flag, dude. This guy talks a lot about South Africa. Oh wait. Oh no. Uh-oh. Oh shit. Yeah, the Politislop apple doesn't fall far from the Politislop tree. Dude, it's crazy. I feel like I wish I could get somebody, I wish I could pay someone an infinite amount of money to be a fake grifter, and then I just run this whole fake operation about like running a grifter operation, because I think I could do it if I was like the brains behind it. And then I increasingly like try to push people on just the most insane shit possible. And then I step out from behind a tree, and I'm like, this has all been a complete fabrication. I was behind it all. But the thing is, I think if I did that, I still think people wouldn't believe me. They think it was part of it. They think it was part of the bit. Why is he wearing multiple New York sports teams hat? Is he just a New York simp? You know, I think he's probably an apartheid fan. I think I could do it. Conor McGregor demands peace. Guys, this just in, disgraced UFC fighter says that everybody should get along. I'm sorry. I just needed to talk about that. I just felt like the timing about the Judge Dredd thing was really, really funny. Okay, I just thought it was really funny. Oh my god, dude. It's always the same shit. That was a little bit of a preamble on today's stream. I wasn't expecting to actually cover that. Obviously, my brain is telling me to click on my response to the woke mob. But like, you know, maybe he should, I don't know, go jerk off to like femboy porn or something. What the fuck did Conor McGregor do? He got disgraced after being accused of rape. So stop gooning. Also, I was right again. Yeah, listen, man. If Private Parts comes by the stream and he wants to throw me in his fucking, if he wants to throw me in Gawkbound, yeah, he's got my full permission. If he's doing VA work with it, I'll say whatever the fuck he wants. I'll do it for free.
It's only 8 minutes. Do it, coffee man.
But yeah, that was a shout out Judge Dredd, dude. I'll make sure you have your gooning habits noted for the game. Thanks. Anyway, today's stream was originally about unschooling. If you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, I'm just gonna give you a quick TLDR on unschooling, just as per necessary as we get into this next session. So, chat, what is unschooling? Well, you've probably had those pesky things called a curriculum and education. You know, some things you might have experienced, even if you were homeschooled. These are things that are entitled to all the children across the United States. But we're finally bucking that trend and deciding to just let kids, you know, follow their interest. It's like the extreme end of a homeschooling Waldorf school education, where basically a mom sits at home and says, "It's okay, honey. you can learn to read if you want to. But if you're interested in playing in the sand outside, that just means you're an architect. And we'll focus on that instead. Anyway, obviously, for those of you that are familiar with Stream, you know that I'm a teacher. I have lots of really strong opinions on schooling, of which those opinions are based on experience. In fact, I've thought about like how I can make a positive impact on those things, because education is important. But these people feel that a different kind of education is necessary to shake up the routine. Both of my parents are teachers. Are you trying to make me mad tonight? I will make you mad. Some of you will be sad, and some of you will be horrified. But I do... There's a few of these ladies who definitely stand out as characters, and we got a problem. we got a problem. I know who the characters are, and we'll explore some of them. This Kelsey woman stands out quite a bit. But some of them are really funny. Unschoolia is very interesting, right? So let's see. School doesn't matter.
School does not really matter. I know that's going to trigger a bunch of people, but we've been dumbed down to think that we need school to be successessful. We've been conditioned to.
Okay, dude. You know when like a YouTuber is like, "Don't go, like I didn't go to college and I'm successful." This is like I didn't go to elementary school and I'm doing just fine.
This way through school. That's the whole point of it. School is nothing but conditioning to think a certain way.
Oh my god, dude. Oh boy, it's conditioning to think a certain way. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so it doesn't matter what I say to you because you're nuts. This is you're mentally ill. You believe in a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory. If I were teaching a class of 8-year-olds and it was history, I would explain history in simple terms. I am also, again, kind of aping the beginning of Laserpig's video here, but it's really good, and I understood the analogy he was making, so I'm just going to impart it on you guys. Right? If I were doing a class on U.S. history and we were covering the Civil War, I would say the Civil War was about slavery, and slavery is bad. And that would be the story. And we're the good guys, and they were the bad guys because they wanted slavery. And then that's how I'd explain it, right? Now, if I tried to explain, yes, a big component of the war was slavery. There were also some other extenuating circumstances that presented itself as issues in the war. And of course, a lot of people had a lot of differing opinions on that. But the slavery was still an important aspect, the most important aspect, because people's lives. But then also, it was a lot more complicated than people believe because there's all these states involved and a lot of governmental officials wanted certain things that weren't being addressed by the constituency and the government and blah, 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 blah. The point is that it would be really complicated, right? And it would make it so much more difficult to explain that concept to an 8-year-old. You tell them one way, and then as you get older, you add a little bit more. And then if they're really interested, you go into college and you become a Civil War historian. And you learn, ultimately, the Civil War was kind of about slavery. Those other things are there, but they're just kind of lampshading slavery, right? So there's a lot of shit there, okay? It's not conditioning to think a certain way. For the most part, the people that work in education on a institutional level, like not the day-to-day teachers, like day-to-day teachers who go in and they teach your kids stuff, they just want to teach kids because they're passionate about it and they feel fulfilled by helping the world. But the people who build curriculums and work on the psychology of education want to be able to help kids be more educated en masse so they can be better participatory people in society, right? Now, of course, schooling in America has its issues, and there's certain things that America teaches that could be say, let's just, there's not another better word for it, whitewashing of the situation, right? There's been a long standing conflict where some people want more nuanced, less positive explorations of American history in schools, and that's basically where the back and forth kind of starts and stops. But like fucking science, you can't really teach chemistry a different way, man, or math. That's not really conditioning to think a certain way. Algebra is like important, man, and like you kind of need it to do things and explain things. And I understand that algebra isn't part and parcel like finance math, but if you took algebra, you'd probably be better at finance math.
Act a certain way, to believe a certain way. All true education and learning comes through doing, through pursuit.
Okay. Yeah, I agree that there is a aspect of education that requires a doing practice function. Not all education can be done through a doing practice function. History is a really good example of that. You can't really do history. I mean, if you're doing history, you're like, something has gone really wrong and there's probably somebody marching through the streets. But like, it's you can't really do all education. Some of it has to be like memorization and learning, like phonics, man. Recreating historical events in my history class. Yeah. The January 6th is doing history. I was going to use the assassination attempts as doing history, but the point is, you want to read and learn about history. You don't want to do history.
Doing through curiosity, through inquiry, through research.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm going to do the thing again. That's a dog whistle. If you say, we're doing our own research against the system, we're looking up conspiracy theories and believing those. That's what that is. Got a third degree. This says I'm certified that bitch. Very real, Lunar.
I didn't say that education doesn't matter. I said school doesn't matter, because education you can get everywhere. I'm simply saying that school is.
Listen, I'm not saying that the cookie cutter, public school system is the best way to teach every child, right? It isn't. I know it's not. I'm very much aware of that. But there are very clear upsides to an education in a school. I think it really helps kids to be around, varying cohorts, right? So I know right now we do just like a single cohort where it's just like all second graders that are all in the same age group or all with other second graders who are in the same age group. It is definitely, from what I've read, important to, have older kids be with some younger kids, not like super old, but like a little older. So that way those older kids can model behavior and then the younger kids will model that behavior as well. It helps for socialization and the ability to develop, responsibility and different things. It's good for the child's health and social health. That's important. School facilitates that. It could be better at doing things like that. As social health is incredibly important for a child. Homeschooling does not give that a lot of the time, and a lot of kids who are homeschooled end up under-socialized. Okay? I don't know if Cloudy's in the chat. Cloudy was homeschooled. But it helps to have socialization, and I know and have experienced students who were homeschooled and were definitely under-socialized.
Not the only way to become educated. There are many paths to the same destination. You do have to have skills. You do have to have competency. You do have to have self-discipline and obviously knowledge. And you can do that.
Yeah, but a child doesn't have self-discipline, and it helps a child have school so they can develop the building blocks of what is necessary to have that discipline. The building blocks of structure help someone understand that structure can lead to you being more successful.
By pursuing your interests, your goals, your aspirations, your passion.
Do you think Jar would have turned out so bad if he went to public school? I think Jar has, that's so hard to say. Commentary channel should be given control of the Department of Education. We can reach the youth.
From now on, I'm assimilating all information via osmosis.
I was thinking that we all just go to the school of TikTok. I've learned more on TikTok in the last 4 years than the other 50 I've been alive. Dude, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Gen X, but we gotta wrangle you guys, dude. I don't know what home we can put you guys in, but I think we need to put you guys back in middle school, man.
Just decide, which I did. When I thought I would go to art school and get an art degree, I was like, why don't I just become an artist? And that's
how's that working out for you? All right. Not to shit on your parade here, but your PFP is AI, first of all, which is a problem. Let's see. You do Too Cool for School course, mini coaching session. You have a fake job. You're not even an artist. None of this is art. None of this is art. Attorney in fact truancy defense. $1,000 for families who need full support handling
NGL,
CPS,
the
truancy, and
best thing to
school
happen to me in
districts.
school was getting my butt handed to me for being annoying. It made me go, huh, I should be less annoying.
Oh my god. Yeah, school does teach you it teaches you social norms. Let's open up this Instagram. Let's see if she's got any art on here. Let's see what kind of artist this is. Oh boy. None of it, what is this shit? This is just some fucking grifting Gen X lady who's dyeing her graying hair at Supercuts, bro. Like what is this? Dude, this does have sovereign citizen written all over it, right?
exactly what I did. I found the art I wanted to do and I just started doing it. And I learned as I went and I became very successful at it. So just make up.
I literally just see you talk about how you unschool.
Your mind what you want to do and go do it and figure it out along the way. That is how life works. So don't waste your time. Just go for what you want to do.
Dude.
Figure it out.
Oh my god.
And go do it. School.
All right. Guys, when you decide what career you want to do in life, that is different than deciding whether or not you want to do math homework. Oh my god. All right, when we give you, and I'm saying we as teachers, and I'm including myself in that collection of individuals. When we give you a book to read in English class, let's say we give you Romeo and Juliet, and you ask yourself, why am I reading Romeo and Juliet? I want to be a chemist, right? The reason we have you read Romeo and Juliet is multiple. Reading is a skill that transfers between everything. You need to be able to read scientific papers. You need to be able to read books. You need to be able to read literature for learning. Reading fiction can make you a better reader. Okay? 2, we give you Romeo and Juliet because it is part of classical Western literature. It helps you
Listen, I
understand
get Romeo and Juliet,
society.
but why did you guys never teach me how to do my taxes? Just saying.
Well, I will say this. Many high schools had finance electives that students could take, and it is becoming more common for that to be more of an option. If you didn't get that, you can Google it, but if you are passionate about it, you should talk to your local government. You should go to your town board meeting. Okay? You know who's at a town board meeting? Who's 60 to dying. Okay? They're going to be talking about the things that are going to help them from till they're 60 to dead. But if you care about the neighborhood you live in, you should go there and tell them that they need to build a new library. They also have to listen to you, regardless of how stupid it is. Yeah, it's just time consuming. It's time consuming. Where was our channel? There we go. Oh, I want to see the avoiding truancy. But there's a lot of okay, the point is about the Romeo and Juliet thing, right? There's so many reasons we give you books like that, right? It develops you as a person. And also, if everybody has a very similar education through high school, there's at least this like standard of understanding that you'll have moving into most conversations, right? It gives you a basis of things to pull from. If you guys ever watch my streams, wow, this is the most political I've been in months, but if you've ever watched my streams, you know that I reference a lot of different media that I either read, watch, or play, right? Exploring different things makes you do that better.
All right, let's talk about the legal aspects of getting your kids out of school. Schools have a lot of pressure on parents around attendance. They will threaten with truancy. There's a certain amount of absences you're allowed, and then after you have those amount of absences, you're considered a truant, and then they tell you have to have doctor's excuses, and they do all this heavy surveillance and pressure because they can.
They do all this heavy surveillance. Dude. The nanny state is trying to take away our homeschooling.
Because you are enrolled, you have given up your rights to your child by enrolling them in the school. They are now a ward of the state.
Oh my god. Oh boy. Okay. Oh my god. They are not a ward of the state. They are not a ward of the state. Yeah, when they're taken into custody for foster care, all right, because your kid can't read fucking Magic Treehouse. Yeah, they're gonna become a ward of the state, but that's because you've deprived them of the ability to function in society. Okay, like the literacy rate, which is probably one of the things I talk about like the most, is like really fucking bad. And let me just tell you. You are not setting your kid up for success if they can't read a grade school reader, all right?
So you just surrendered them, and now you are subject to their laws. The minute you withdraw them, you reclaim your child. You withdraw them, you send a letter of intent to homeschool, and they cannot mess with you. People don't know their rights, and that is why they are able to walk all over you.
Well, you can't. Well, everybody knows that you're just not supposed to just whip your kid out of school, okay? There's like a whole process to be homeschooling because they want to make sure your child is getting an education. It's not like you just get the books for an education and then you throw them in the trash.
You already are having issues with attendance, and you've missed a lot of school, and your kid just isn't going either because they're sick or they just are resistant, and maybe you have family things going on. Who knows? That's your business. But if they're already missing a lot of school and you're concerned about legal stuff.
If a child is missing a lot of school, it's usually a sign that something else is going on at home. Just like 9 times out of 10, Every time there's like a kid who's missing a lot of school, it's either because their parents not taking them to the bus stop, their parents not walking them to school, the parents are abusing them, the parents aren't feeding them, the parents aren't present, and the kids raising themselves.
Withdraw them. You can always re-enroll them, but if you want to protect yourself legally, withdraw them, send a letter of intent to homeschool. Done. Do not offer these people, these bureaucrats, these school administrators.
What do you think about the World Economic Forum? What are your opinions on Carl Schwab?
Too much information. You don't need their permission to raise your own children. I hope that helps. If you need more.
Isn't it interesting that all these school bureaucrats are Jewish? I'm just saying it. I want to intend to raise my homeschool child. I'm just saying it's very interesting how that's them. Number 1 World Bank fan. I need you to understand how understanding these people are to kids not being able to make it. They will move mountains to accommodate. Dude, I fucking... Living the dream. Deschooling equals detoxing surveillance. Okay.
One of the big adjustments that you go through when you become an unschooling parent and you're going through the deschooling process is shaking off the eye of surveillance that comes.
Oh my god, you're nuts. This lady's nuts. Holy shit, dude, the black vans. The black vans are watching me not raise my child.
With when you go to school, because you just are always being watched. Kids are always being watched. They're always looking over their shoulder to see if someone's going to correct them and tell them to stop doing something, because that's
Kids should have, you know, like if your kid has like a group of maybe like, you know, 1 or 2 older kids, a younger kid, right? Like a little bit of a mixed age group of kids that they hang out with. If you let them play alone for a bit, that's going to be fine, right? Assume, like, I don't think they're going to be swept off the street. It could happen. Obviously, I'm not saying that's an impossibility. There was like a scare about that in the 90s. I am quoting Jonathan Haidt, who has been talking about he's been a big proponent of removing phones from school. But you know, he's been talking a lot about early childhood education and socialization and psychology and stuff like that. You know, if if your kid is on the playground, just let him play, right? And not watch them. But what you're describing here is like a child is doing something bad. They know it's bad, but they're looking around to see if another adult is going to stop them or correct them on that behavior. That's what you've just described to me. That wasn't unsupervised play. That was they're up to something.
the culture of school. You're just waiting to get in trouble, because anything that you do that is individualistic, that's fun, that is lighthearted, usually gets policed.
So there's a time and a place for that in the classroom. I think play and more pro-social activities in the classroom are good and encourage healthy learning, right? But if we're in the classroom and it is time for a lecture and you need to learn this information in order to perform better in a task or activity, you need to shut up, all right? Because you are talking about a child basically running around willy-nilly when there needs to be structured education in order for you to get better at a thing. Math is important, but you do need to describe why an equation is the way it is in order for you to practice that equation later. Thoughts on recess equivalent being maintained throughout grade school into adulthood? Genuine. I don't know if it can work in high school, but it should definitely continue through middle school. 100%. I will say when I went to Catholic school, I basically had recess until 8th grade, and I do think that is better. You need that socialization time, and a longer lunch period is not a substitute for that.
You have to ask to go to the bathroom. You have to ask to move. You have to get...
A bunch of these issues I think parents have with the kid is that they don't respect the potential of the kid. Well, yeah. Well, it's like a public school that maybe there's like a teacher or two that's not really respectful to the kid, or maybe they're mental health issues, and like the kid doesn't have like an IEP or something, and so they feel that that's like the kid being stifled, you know. So I could definitely see that being the case. I've definitely seen it.
permission to even speak. There is zero autonomy in a school. Everything is controlled. And as a parent, you have to fill out forms, and you have to let them know when you're not coming. You have to give an excuse for every single thing that you do in your private life that affects the attendance of the school.
Okay, guys, if I have a job and I just stop showing up to that job, what happens? Please, Professor Diesel, I really need the pass. Dude, that's one of those things where it was like really ridiculous that teachers would do, where they'd be like, may I go to the bathroom? Not can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, you get fired. You get a wellness check. Something happens. There are consequences for you magically not showing up. It's like, there's like an obvious level of privacy. They're not asking for you to spread your cheeks, okay, at your job. Right? They're asking for a reasonable, like, hey, why aren't you at work? There's things that need to be done.
So, and then on top of that, there's homework, which is just another...
Me getting a doctor's note for being sick. I'm being detained.
form of surveillance.
I meant more the parents don't respect their kids' potential and just assume at all times they know better or a greater understander, and not respecting the kid's IQ or emotional. I mean that too, right? I do think there's parents that mean well, but they also think their kid's like a fucking idiot and needs like a very particular set of things, but really they just kind of need either the independence or some time to flourish.
Of taking up space in your life, in your home, away from school. John Taylor Gatto, the author of Dumbing Us Down and Weapons of Mass Instruction. If you don't know his work, I highly suggest that you read his work.
I have a feeling that this guy's going to be a total quack if I look him up, huh?
But he is the first one to have introduced that idea of homework being more surveillance. And it absolutely makes sense to me.
Okay. So homework is surveillance? Okay. So here's the thing. And I can tell you how this can actually help you as a grown adult and self-learner. Okay. So there's a thing called spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is the process by which you learn a thing, you practice that thing, and then you take some time off, and then you do the thing you practiced earlier again, right? So you learn it, it becomes stuck in your memory, it starts to go away. Then you learn it again and it comes back. And then you learn it again and it comes back. You notice how you guys don't remember a lot of stuff from high school, but the stuff that you repeated and did more frequently, you remember? That's part of the purpose of homework. Okay? Like, obviously, part of it is to make sure that you it's to make sure you retain the knowledge, right? But to make sure you retain the knowledge, right? They're obviously checking it to make sure you did it, right? It's not to make sure you paid attention, but it's to ensure that you're able to remember the things that you're learning. Now, should homework be graded? I don't know. I don't really think so. I think that's what tests and quizzes are for. Personally, there are some people that grade homework, and I don't think that really provides itself as a good learning instructor. You should be able to correct homework, but using it as part of like if you fail a homework, your grade's going to go down. I don't know. Like, maybe that's more of like a conversation and you sit the kid down and you be like, what's going on? Homework is just making me lame, actually. So, but like, if you guys are learning a language, do a little bit of spaced repetition. Okay. Get an Anki deck and then notice how much of that you retain over time. An Anki deck will do wonders.
So that's the tough part, is that first 1 or 2 years especially the first few months. Everybody goes through it. Like, you're just waiting to get in trouble. And then because you're not getting in trouble, because you're free, you feel guilty. Like, you must be doing something wrong. So that is part of the deschooling process. That's the detox of getting all of that energy out of your life. You become the boss of your
Okay,
life.
not to be that guy, but like sometimes like negative things in life are actually healthy. Not like having constant overabundance of negative stressors, but like, for fuck's sake, we weren't meant to sit in pods and experience nothing but pleasure our entire lives. You know?
Life and of your children. And of
I'm glad I have a degree. It was hard. It was hard. I know. Haha, Diesel went to art school. I know. But it wasn't easy. It definitely got easier with the pandemic, not gonna lie. But, you know, like, there was tons of stuff that was not easy at all. My Western literature class was really hard. I actually still have the book. My Japanese class was very hard when I took that in college. What was another one? I have a bunch of books from my education. My hardest classes were always math. My stats class was very difficult. I'm glad I did it though.
your world when you disconnect from forced factory schooling, from the public.
If I was in charge of my life as a kid, I would have been eating ice cream and watching Daria all day. Dude, I would have literally been playing Legend of Zelda Wind Waker from dawn till dusk, okay?
Government school system, which is only there to serve itself. It only rewards you when you do what it says, and it will make you doubt yourself.
All right, listen, lady, just take your kid to a Waldorf school. Like, you don't need to, like, deprive them of all education. But there are, like, systems and institutions in place that would fit your worldview, that would still make your child a learned person.
You are not. So you got to persevere.
I'm not even, like, poo-pooing over, like, private school or charter school or Catholic school or, you know, whatever the fuck, right? It's just, like, there are different modes of education that aren't just, let the kid to figure it out.
Time. You got to read the books. If you're going to get good at being an unschooling parent, then you got to read all the books. And I suggest you do that with an audio book account.
If you want to get better at being an unschooling parent, I can't read. Just read an audiobook.
I'm always playing books when I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning, when I have any time where I'm by myself and there's just, if I don't want, you know, quiet.
I really like Audible and I use Audible. I don't read nonfiction on Audible because I don't retain the information the same way. And I always use it to multitask. And I definitely don't retain it that way. I rarely do. I rarely do.
I'm listening to a book. And it's either a personal development
book. They're actually, Audible has become more popular as literacy rates have dropped too, which is really, really telling. That's not to say Audible's a bad service. I just don't think it's a supplement for reading. I think it's good on top of reading. I think you can do both, but there is something to be said about reading a book.
Entrepreneur book or a book about parenting or unschooling. And that rubs off. The atmosphere around here is one of personal development and growth, of always getting better. And it's awesome. My kids love it. They always walk in on a book. And sometimes they'll linger and listen to a chapter. But
they listen to your book reading. That's not an education. The stuff that you're learning about, it's not even applicable to them.
The atmosphere of my home is all about leveling up, knowledge, spirituality. So once you shut that door and take control of your life and get your kids out of these kiddie jails, you get to do that too.
The kiddie jails.
You get to be as creative as you want to be with your life, and your kids do too. So that's the good news. So don't give up. If you get into this lifestyle and you start to feel like, oh, I'm doing it wrong, somebody's going to come get me, just persevere. Get into a support group. hit me up, watch my content. You're going to be okay. Just persevere and let the toxins come out. Okay? I hope that helps.
Schooling is
I'll talk
why
to you
I
later.
enjoy military
Peace.
history.
You know, one of my favorite classes in college, it was a morning class, and I didn't want to take sorry chat, little based here. I didn't want to take feminist literature history. Okay. I took Roman war history, and the only time that class was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would have to drive over an hour to get to class. And I loved it. It is definitely like a class for dudes. That's like a dude class. But I learned the history of Rome, and it made me like a fan of antiquity for like the rest of my life. My teacher played Total War, big Total War fan. My teacher, and he was a great guy, and I fucking loved it. You know, schooling definitely opens up by the time you get to college, obviously. I got a little bit of that in high school. I had the choice between some extracurriculars. I had to take a English class of my choosing at one point, and I chose public speaking. It was the first time I had done a public speaking thing, and I actually really liked it. The teacher I had, he was very inspired by Kurt Vonnegut. We read some Kurt Vonnegut books. That was really great. I hadn't really gotten exposed to him as an author before, and I actually enjoyed his books. He swore in the class, and as a high schooler, that was kind of impressive because you don't expect a teacher to swear. You know, so there were things that have stuck with me as an adult and as a person. So it's just like, this is just so wackadoo. How to unschool. How to unschool in every state. Teach them self-mastery. Dude, she's playing the art of the deal for her kids. Dude, you know that she's just really obnoxious in a supercuts, bro.
Something that used to really annoy me when my kids were in school is how much micromanaging would happen on a daily basis. Telling them to stop running when they were out on their breaks. Like, don't run. Always don't run. Or you're gonna fall, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. The constant haranguing. If you constantly harangue your kids, you're just gonna make them scared.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty worldly guy. I don't know what the fuck a harangue is. I know I be saying things, but what the fuck does that mean?
The entire world. This is the problem with the world right now. We are constantly telling them to be afraid.
It's a pie. That's meringue. That's meringue. It's a type of primate.
Of stuff.
My femdom teacher was a tyrant. She stepped all over everyone in class. Were you in class to learn how to be a femdom? Or was it like she was just that way? What was that? Like an elective?
For example, we give them phones and devices, and then we say, oh, they're terrible for you. You're going to get addicted. They're going to ruin your brain. Instead of telling them, this thing is powerful. You have to master it. You have to exercise self-control, and I'm going to help you do that.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. There's a few things here. What is the context for your kids not being told to run? If you're outside on the playground and your kids are running, that should be fine and perfectly okay. If your kid is running in the hall, that's not okay. You get hurt, and if you land on tile, it's going to be way worse than landing on the dirt. All right? There's a time and a place for running, and it is not inside a fucking building. All right? Like, Jesus Christ. We got to be safe. There's fire codes. People can get in trouble. All right? We're trying to keep your kids safe. That's where we're saying, don't run in the fucking hall. All right? Two, you dumb bitch. All right? A fucking cell phone? Seriously? What are you giving your grade schooler a cell phone? Hey, I'm going to help you learn self-control and mastery. They're a child. I know I'm like compartmentalizing and just like, You know, assuming she's talking about some kid who's not a high schooler, right? But it's like, if you're giving a kid who's like really young a cell phone and saying exercise self-control, they're going to lose. The people who make this thing are way fucking smarter than you. And they know all the tricks about you, okay? They know all the tricks. You know why? Because you're on fucking TikTok, all right? And what happens when you're on TikTok? You scroll the For You page. What's your watch time, lady? How many hours a day do you spend on TikTok? Tell me. I'd like to know, actually, all right? Because if you're spending anywhere upward of an hour watching TikTok today, you don't have self-control. Because they know how to basically hijack your brain to abuse it with the social media, okay? It is addiction dopamine machines. Very powerful machines. It's amazing how we're able to offload so much onto these things. But to say that these things are powerful is true. But to say that an 8-year-old or some like grade schooler should be able to master it is fucking ridiculous. Because that is exactly what those companies want. And that is how they make a customer for life out of your child.
This, you know, we give them the thing and then we say, oh no, it's terrible for you. So the beauty of unschooling for me was teaching my kids how to master themselves. Because life is a game of self-mastery. That's it. You learn to master yourself by educating yourself, by...
I want to know what her husband does. What does your husband do for a living? Because I can tell you, you don't own no fucking home with your courses and dumb bullshit you're doing with your kids. All right? I know you ain't making that kind of bread. All right? So what does the father do?
Disciplining yourself, all of these things. I do not teach my kids to be afraid of shit. Like, they are the creator. Everything they interact with in life has creative potential. So, yeah, I didn't follow them around being like, oh, I'm scared, don't climb the tree. Do I warn them of the dangers of things? Yes. But I always, 100%, infuse them with the confidence that they...
It's like, I wouldn't, like, not telling your kid to climb a tree is, like, that's, I get why that would be bad, right? Like, a kid should be able to have unsupervised play. More often than not, they're going to be okay. Okay? But we're talking about completely, like, unfettered access to the internet, okay?
And master themselves. And
is she charging for courses or are they free? Yeah, of course she charges for courses. Let's see how much they cost. These are too cool for school memberships. Okay. A grand. A grand. Okay. A grand. Yeah, it's AI. It's AI. Here's what you get for $1,000, chat. Too Cool for School is more than a course. It's a movement. You'll get lifetime access to a 12-part video series that walks you step by step on how to legally, confidently, and joyfully unschool your child, even if you're just getting started. Here's what you'll get. 12 video lessons covering the full unschooling journey. She teaches you how to fill out the paperwork to do homeschool and then do your kids' homeschool paperwork. Like how to do count change. A downloadable resource guide with books, TED Talks, and inspiring tools. Hey guys, you know those books that I don't read on Audible? Well, I've downloaded PDF versions and I will give those to you. No, they're not mine. Including the TED Talks, also not mine. You know, they're free on YouTube, but I put them here in a nice package for you. $1,000, please. Lifetime access so you can go at your own pace. Designed for parents ready to ditch distress and reclaim joy. All sales are final. No refunds will be issued. Please see my chargeback. Materials are for personal use only and may not be shared or reproduced. If I were to spend $1,000 in this and I see that not all of the material is yours, I do not think that you have the copyrightable right to not tell me what to do. Okay, maybe your videos, sure, but I do believe that I would be able to critique these things. I would buy this if it wasn't $1,000. Okay. Let's see how much your mini coaching sessions cost. All right, so you get 20 minutes of her time for $55. Okay. That's outrageous, actually. 60-minute in-depth unschooling. Okay. Okay, $60. Okay, 60 minutes for $250. Are you fucking kidding me? Huh? She spent that money, and she also probably got the do not distribute notice when she bought and downloaded it all. DIY legal cool toolkit. Okay. Dude, she's got a Threads account? Crazy. Jesus Christ. ChatGPT legal advice toolkit. Yeah, you know what? $200 for this is kind of fucking insane. Fill in the blank. Okay. All right. All right. All right. This lady hasn't done any of the work herself, dude. Fill in the blank. AI prompt maps for writing powerful legal letters. ChatGPT, how do I get CPS to get off my ass? Oh my god. Templates for letter of intent to homeschool, withdraw and database removal, dismissal of truancy charges, cease and desist, school and CPS harassment. A step-by-step guide on using AI tools like ChatGPT with voice-to-text documents and document uploads. This is actually really funny. Listen, man, this is sucker born every day. How I feel about the haters.
When people talk shit about you,
I don't really give a fuck.
Damn. Dude, Gen X is really struggling. I wish when unlearning or unschooling was just getting a lobotomy. Dude, she does give sovereign citizen. She does give sovereign citizen.
My 20-year-old unschooled daughter just recently enrolled in college. She's been exclusively unschooled since after the 3rd grade. She's a very multi-talented child and spent the majority of her childhood playing with technology in a very serious way, from editing.
Okay. I would love to autism investigate your kid. I'm sorry. What? How's your kid's socialization, huh? How's she doing in college? Making friends, huh? What's going on there? What's she studying in college, huh? She's studying to be a doctor?
Videos to making videos, and she's also a multi-instrumentalist music artist.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay.
The years of her childhood, I got her different instructors for the different instruments that she was interested in.
Oh, this lady's breaded. This lady's fucking breaded. Okay, I don't know what the fuck is with this lady. She's breaded. Okay.
The time. She's now a singer-songwriter and released her first single last year and is starting to gain momentum as a music artist.
KJ, if you're not doing anything, I don't know how you find that, but please find it. Please find it. Please find it.
Already a music producer and is self-produced. I never had any concerns
I need
about
that. I need that right now.
whether or not my kids would get into any colleges because I know
I need to find her daughter's musical career. You know, she's a 20-year-old musical producer, a multi-talented artist. She's making waves, man.
that colleges are pretty open to unschoolers because they have a repertoire of experience. And no matter what school you go to, you do have to sell yourself. You do have to say, you know, what you're bringing to the table. And so whenever I've talked to my kids about getting to college, I'm like, you're the customer. You need to be interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you because you're coming.
What terrifies me is that these are the very people who think that it's better to take the kids out of school than to educate them. Yeah.
With your fresh ideas and your youth and your vibrancy. So don't look at it as like you're begging for some crumbs to get into some fancy exclusive college because you are the energy. Without you, there is no college. Just straight out the gate, unschoolers are going to be more interesting than traditionally schooled kids. And what's refreshing about her experience is that she really wants to go. She's not been forced to do any kind of schooling. So her showing up to
My daughter really wants to go to college after not being schooled. Interesting. What is that relationship like? Is it as positive as you interpret it to be? Because I feel like you are only giving us one angle of this home situation.
courses, she's really giving it her all.
I still had to take basic classes to get into a music conservatorium. She's smoking crack.
And it fits into a larger context of where she's going with her interests and her career right now. One of the things we used to always say throughout my kids' childhood as we've been unschooling is hashtag unschooling, because every situation we've been
Me sitting across from my unschooling partner who is agreeing to unschool our kids with me. Hashtag unschooling. Are you people a Black Mirror episode? I know I was making fun of that show on a prior stream, but you're actually defying the odds.
encountered where there's real life learning happening.
I want to go back to school. I've talked about this on stream before where I want to go back to school because it's just like, I actually do like learning. Like, it's just, I can't imagine. I wish that I learned how amazing learning was when I was a child.
I can't. I am no longer able to can. She can't even master resell rights pyramid scheme cause she got her class on ChatGPT inscribed and Pirate Bay.
Hold on. Dude, I can't go on LinkedIn anymore without signing in. Hold on. Can't have shit anymore. Can't have shit in Detroit, man. That's crazy. Let's try this email. Oh my god, we sent a 6-digit code to your fucking blah 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 blah. Hold on. She is a social media marketer, by the way, FYI. So, you know what she's doing. You know what kind of art she's making to marketing money, baby. Oh god. There's no fucking way, dude. Oh. I'm sorry. I just got one that's even fucking funnier. I'm actually being astounded. Help us stay unschooled and secure the future of Unschoolia. Hi, friends. We're experiencing an unexpected housing crisis, and I'm reaching out to ask for help. After living in our current home the past 6 years, we've been told that we need to move out by the end of March so the house can be sold. We're doing everything we can to find and secure a new place, but it's a tough time. Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, I don't think $370 is going to help you, lady. Over the past couple of years, I've been fully dedicated to supporting my mom through 2 heart surgeries. You are not breaded enough to be doing this, lady. You need to get a job and stop unschooling your child. I've been fully dedicated to supporting my mom through 2 heart surgeries and ongoing health challenges, while also helping my 2 now adult kids navigate their new life choices. My career took a hit during this time. My staging business closed, my income paused, and my credit score was impacted in that process. I've also been building a new venture, Unschoolia, which is finally gaining traction, but I haven't reached the stability I needed. Good news is I found a perfect home for our family, but due to financial situation, we'll need to pay several months' rent up front. Hey guys, I run a business for taking your child out of school. Can you please give me money because I'm financially insolvent and my business went under? You know, yeah, it's a real shame her daughter won't be able to read this. The worst part of this is that I'm pretty sure they're Latino. We are not sending our best. I need a... Oh boy. This lady is exactly what you think she is, dude. Okay. I'm gonna be in an art school Andy for a second. She went to one of those like Diploma Mill Academy of the Arts places. Our Unschoolia lady, not her daughter. But you know, the Academy of Art places take like anybody. It's like Full Sail, where if you put the money down, they'll let you in. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's okay. A white friend convinced her to do it.
That you can't get in a classroom. That was just always our saying. Hashtag unschooling. So needless to say, I'm very incredibly proud of her. And it's really inspiring to see what happens when you allow kids to just grow in their own way. The level of confidence and joy and gifts that she has to offer the world now because she hasn't been littered on by the subjugation of forced schooling.
She hasn't been littered on? I don't think that this lady can talk about unschooling when her vernacular is subpar, to say the least. I'm not saying that I'm the most well-versed individual, but littered on by the subjugation of...
is heartwarming.
Of schooling. Littered on by the subjugation of schooling? What does that even mean?
I have felt bad not supporting you, so have this. Don't know if it will count towards the goal.
I will allow it to count towards the goal. I will allow it. Thank you, philosopher. That was very nice of you.
Time very healing for me because it's affirmation that I made the right choice and that my contribution to the world is this lovely human who is spreading her love and her joy and her passion for life far and wide. My 20-year-old unschooled daughter.
Well, I guess your 20-year-old unschooled daughter is going to be coming home to see her mom in a fucking Subaru Outback. I know that's mean and terrible, and I hope you find housing. But maybe you should get, like, you know, something that's not your dream job. I understand TikTok is a very lucrative idea for a business, but, you know, sometimes that just ain't how it be.
One thing I'll never get or understand are those parents that are like, I'm not your friend. I'm your parent. I'm not going to be your friend.
I think
Eat fruit because I'm a crash out with this
we're
crazy
lampshading a little something
ITCH.
here. I think you're trying to say something with this one. I don't know. I don't know.
This woman looks like the darker, older version of Mamrie Hart.
I will let it be 2 fruits now.
What the fuck even is that? Like, okay, I came into this world. You're my parent. We're just going to have this transactional relationship.
It's not like a transaction. That's not what that means.
Don't want to connect with me as a friend would. Okay, I get it. There's this whole rabbit hole, I don't know if you've been down it, about, you know, the no contact parents. And these are the parents that are like so flabbergasted their kids want to have nothing to do with them as adults.
But that's not about the parent being like, listen, I have a parent does have a different relationship than a friend. A parent isn't a friend, and that's okay. You're there to give guidance and support to your child. Okay? It's different than being a friend. It is. It just is. All right? But the no contact parents are generally, if you speak to those kids, will talk about how abusive the parent is. Being a I'm not your friend parent is not the same thing as being an abusive parent. All right? You hold a different relationship with a child. You can be your parents' friend after you move out and get your own life, but never when you live with them. I think that's a decent way to put it. Yeah, it means I'll hold you to a higher standard than my friends. I don't care if my friends smoke. I don't want my kids smoking.
They were total assholes to their kids growing up. These are the same parents that let
Okay, lady, you're conflating like people who beat their children with somebody who's like hard on their children. Okay? Being like, get that cigarette out of your fucking mouth is different than like smacking your kid with a belt. All right? I know some people in the chat might be old enough that they experience stuff like that, yada yada. But it's like that, like those are different things.
come between.
Why'd she do the accent? I'm just saying, sometimes a duck be quacking.
Them and their children. You know, they're like, oh, it's all about the grades. You're not getting the grades? Screw you, kid. You suck. And until you bring up your grades, I'm going to treat you more like shit. Oh, you have no safe place. In my home, whatever I say goes.
You're describing an abusive parent. You're not describing a parent who has like, you know, standards. Like you should, obviously, like you'd want to do the carrot before the stick, right? If you're raising a kid and they're failing in a class, you sit them down and you be like, what's going on? How can I help you? What can we do to help your grades get better? Why do you feel like you're struggling? Is everything okay? Right? And if they're like, I just don't study, or like I don't care, or like who the fuck cares about school, or this, that, and the other thing, then the stick comes out. And then you say, all right, well, if you don't care about school, then we're going to take away this, or we're going to institute this rule, or we're going to discipline you like this. Disciplining a child is just as equally important as being a guiding hand for a child. You don't want to discipline a child, even as somebody who's a teacher. You don't want to discipline your students, but sometimes you got to do that, okay? Right? Because they need to understand that the relationship is different and that there's standards for everybody. If you don't do your work at your job and you continually fuck up your work and don't do your work at your job, guess what happens? You lose your job, all right? There's got to be a level of consequences for behavior. Like, that's just what it is.
And if teachers tell me that you're bad, you're fucking bad. Why?
Which is also possibly true, right? Dude, the parents who are like, my kid can never do any bad. I haven't had that happen at my current teaching position. All of the parents I've interacted with are lovely. But like, when I was a camp counselor, I had stuff like that where I would be like, listen, you know, little Timmy fucking punched a kid across the face. I don't say it like that, but, you know, I say the gist of it. And they go, no, little Timmy would never do that. He's a great little kid. He would never, blah, 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 blah. He would never hurt a fly, right? That's, you like, they're like, I mean, you know, we talk about sweepers all the time in drama. That's a parental sweeper right there. That's a parental sweeper.
Even have kids, dude. Why would you even bring a child into the world if that's
Like, you're just not, like, you can't just be in this position where you completely excuse every single bad behavior of a child, right? If a teacher is coming to you and they're like, little Timmy is having this issue where he runs around and screams in the classroom, and you go, oh, little Timmy would never have that. The teacher isn't coming to you to tattle on the kid and make you feel like a bad parent. The teacher is coming to you so that way you can work with the teacher, so that way you guys can make sure your kid gets a good education, right? If I were to go to a parent and say, your kid is misbehaving, that's not an indictment of your character as a person, all right? I know everybody in chat would probably be able to understand that, but there's a lot of fucking people that don't, right? If I am doing that, I am saying, I want to help your kid get a good education, okay? So you need to work with me here because, like, it takes a fucking community to raise a kid, all right? It's not just one person. Oh boy. All right, let me see if I can bring that up on the YouTubes. Hold on. Okay, we have the artist. This was 10 months ago. You know, to be honest, if my mom unschooled me, I would also make pop punk from a small town. How the fuck did you find this? How the fuck did you find this? I refuse to believe that this is a 20-year-old artist, but I'm actually very impressed if this is the kid. The mixing is kind of bad, but maybe my perception is skewed because my last outsider artist was Brian Mullins. You know, the thing is that this kid has been getting training from musical artists since he was a child. I mean, Axis talked earlier about the living vicariously through your kid, but like, you know, if she wanted to be an artist, this lady, and her daughter was a musical artist, of course she's going to be feeding her kid to, like, you know, musical trainers to make her a singer. Can we even consider Bentelek a musician? Oh my god, dude. This is the most, like, oh my god, this family is exactly who you think they are in every... Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Dude, you know that these people really love a good Reiki healing, dude. I'm sorry. Dude, Life is Strange ass music, dude. Life is Strange ass people, dude. So this is from Unschoolia, whose name I think is like Misselia or something. Or Messiah. Girl, your name cannot be Messiah. Hold on. Yeah, her name is Messiah, or yeah, her name's Messiah. Oh. Proud on this Pride weekend to announce my incredible daughter, Rosie, Osi, released her single Sweet Lies a couple weeks ago. And she and Leon, her phenomenal sibling and drummer, are doing their first live performance tonight. Please give her a stream or several and enjoy. Just FYI, this isn't like doxing, right? Like this is all like this is all part of her fucking marketing crap for her fucking Unschoolia business. It's a family band. Dude, my scary children right next to my unschooling. 10 self-healing activities to help you feel wonderful. Dance by yourself. Move your hips from side to side. We store so much stress there. Run a bath and speak loving affirmations into the water before you... Oh, boy. Run a bath and speak loving affirmations into the water before you soak. Rub oil from your head to your toes after. Deep clean your space. Purge items that no longer serve you. Call 2 friends, one near, one far away. Write a letter to yourself from the future self that has all of your fulfilled desires. Write 10 gratitudes with reasons why you're grateful for them. Put on an amazing fit and take some selfies. Dude, get therapy. She's an EDC mommy, dude. Oh, dude, she got one-shotted by ayahuasca. No doubts. No doubts. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ, the Messiah.
Just one at the level of peace counterbalances 10 million.
Dude, holy fuck. These are some absolutely woo-woo ass people, bro. Oh my God. The chakras are really feeling it tonight. You know, I think this daughter will have some middling success. She looks like a live action version of Chloe from Life is Strange. I don't mean that as a disrespect, by the way. I'm sure you'll be a very successful artist. I'm just saying that yo mom is cringe, girl, and you 20, so you know she cringe. You know she cringe. I'm gonna do the daughter the service of not putting her fucking musical career on here anymore. Aside from that, I was just curious, but I have not seen anybody who looks more like Latina Ramona Flowers in my life, and that is really scary. What the fuck is Moonwater? What the fuck is Moonwater? I need somebody to tell me what Moonwater is. God damn it, Diesel. One of you is going to go look. I already know. I know. I can't stop you, but she does look like a cult. It's water plus Fent. No, it's not.
Mercury really do be in Gatorade, huh?
It's water you put outside to soak up the moon. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, sure. I've always okay, sure, man. Okay, you charge it under a full moon? Okay. Okay, all right, sure. Sure. Who am I to judge? Okay, why not?
This is one of the most common questions I get asked. How do you make moon water? So easy. I'm going to tell
Was that a Wisconsin accent? You hear that?
you how. This is one I made on the last full moon. So you're going to want to make this on full moons, the night before, the night of, or the night after, when the energy is the strongest.
This is making me the world's biggest Reddit atheist, okay?
First off, you're going to find a container to put your moon water in. I prefer glass or copper because natural materials are better, but you can use whatever you have. This step isn't needed, but I prefer to do it. I like to cleanse my vessels, so I will...
I can't. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Uh-huh.
Take a incense and put it in here and light it up and then put it all around it just to give it a nice cleanse. And then you're just gonna fill your jar up with water. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I will say intentions out loud.
You know, man, I'm glad that it's the year 2025 and that we don't burn people at the stake anymore for this shit. Because it makes for great YouTube videos.
Or in my head. Then you're gonna find a place in your house where you can set this out and the full moon light will touch it. You set it out overnight, get it in the morning before the sun hits it, and you made yourself some moon water. This is one of the most...
What happens when the sun hits it? Does it lose all of its energy? Or does it get different energy from the sun and they counterbalance? Because I feel like the sun's got a lot of energy too, you know? Do whatever you want, but I'm not woke enough to do this. Yeah, man, I think that's my take. When the sun hits it, the Fire Nation attacks. Yes, it becomes sun water. I know some of you are joking, but I can't tell if some of you are being serious. Cause I could feel like I feel like sun water is a thing, but I feel like sun water is used for other rituals. Okay. Okay, alright, sure. Okay, sure. You know, God bless. Or Gaia bless. Gaia bless. Kids learn bullying in school.
Bullying is
No.
a learned behavior that comes.
No. Learning is not it is not a learned behavior from schools. Again, generally we see that, you know, bullied kids it's often from experiences at home. But
From schools. I personally think that it has evolved over time, and it's born of frustration and boredom in children.
It was born of frustration and boredom. Okay. You see, parents are infallible, and so are the children. Okay, got it. It's actually these bureaucrats. All right. Okay. There's no way you just gave me the recipe for sun water. Neurotic mommy. Listen, man, I know we got a lot of she-they bisexuals that this is they jam. But I don't think it's for me. Love, health, wealth, abundance, and prosperity. Oh boy. Do you think a Christian would do this with the cross? Or is that like sacrilegious? You know? Okay. Why does sun water get a crystal, but moon water is just moon? Yeah. I've been getting into space genetic determinism, astrology. Isn't that just holy water? Oh, wait, I just re-described holy water. You're right. Sorry, it's been a while, guys.
Unfiltered and can be very cruel. Not that they know what they're actually doing, they're just bumbling along. To take them out of the home and
They literally have a special guy yell Latin at water, and it's powerful. Okay. It's like sun water, but it's charged by a pedophile. Isn't it crazy that JD Vance killed the Pope? Like, that's wild, man.
mono-age them and put them in large groups of other children with few adults and little guidance.
I know the witchcraft girlies here are like, you gotta make your own luck in this world, you know, but like it's really hard because like I go to the mall and I see the store. You know the store. Sometimes I'll go to the store and I can pay them $5 to ring a gong in my name, and it's supposed to cure me of like bad energies, but I think they're just kind of ringing a gong. And you know, it was $5, so I kind of wanted to hear what the gong sounds like.
So we really can't and shouldn't be surprised that we now have this epidemic of bullying to the point.
So, you know, what the fuck kind of store are you going to? It is literally, it smells like incense, and they have like a bunch of bongs in the back, but then they also have like rugs for like stuff. It's like a big store that has like other, like, it's just like I got a bunch of woo-woo stuff in there, but also like weed stuff. And then there's a gong in the store, and I can pay money to ring the gong. And there's also a Buddha statue in there, and I can also buy like fairy statues. Yeah, I went to real life Earthbound store. Yeah, I swear to God, this is a real thing that exists in my mall.
Where child suicide is a real threat, a real problem, and mental health in children.
Child suicide is the other children's fault for bullying the children.
Is declining, and you have kids.
Yeah. The store has cheap katanas in it too. How'd you know the store has katanas in it?
Engaging in risky and dangerous behaviors from a young age. I think the root cause is that they're just bored and they don't have the support that they need emotionally.
I like to think of those metaphysical stores being like the ones from Buffy.
From a young age. You have to factor in the fact that a lot of these teachers are the ones doing the bullying, so these kids...
This lady's nuts. This lady's nuts. Her kid must have been a huge problem when they were younger. Holy shit.
They're learning how to be bullies from adults.
Yes, they're learning from how to be bullies from adults. And what is their earliest interaction with an adult on a frequent basis? It's not the teachers. I'm not saying they can't pick up learned behavior from teachers, but it's the parents because they're the first ones in.
And from other kids that come to school that may have narcissistic parents or just...
Yeah, teachers can be bullies, but it's just this entire, like, it's the problem is that she's hand washing responsibility of a parent in the situation.
Not very good parents, and they bring these behaviors to school, so you're really gambling with what your kids are being exposed to. Emotional intelligence is not something you can learn in a school because there's no room for it. Everything that you do that has to do with your emotions is compartmentalized and shut down. And subconsciously what happens is children are just programmed to stuff their emotions and or act them out.
I don't know if that's particularly accurate either, considering all the social interaction you get in school. Being a social pariah or committing a social faux pas is what helps build your emotional intelligence.
And then families don't have enough time to build emotional intelligence in their lives because of these hectic schedules and just the entire way we've set up our life around capitalism and hyperproductivity.
I unironically cannot even... I actually can't clock this lady's political philosophy. I can't clock this lady's political philosophy. Dude, she's talking about the art of the deal, but now she's complaining about capitalism and productivity.
Basically, over scheduling our time, we are all emotionally dysregulated. So the solution
I think you might be.
is to take control of your life and be the designer of your life and stop supporting these systems. This is the most advantageous time for you to make a switch, to make a quantum jump into a different way of living.
This is what I hate. They expect school to raise your kid. That's not what school is. You still need to put an effort in teaching your kid more personal, complex things. Yeah, man. It's a phrase. You might have heard it. It takes a village to raise a child. And that's like a good thing and a bad thing. But also, it requires your own personal responsibility in raising a child.
We fundamentally need a paradigm shift away.
Anytime somebody says a paradigm shift, I'm picturing them sitting in a Salesforce meeting, saying and doing absolutely nothing, or that Sam Hyde bit where he's talking about 20-something paradigm shift.
From this system that we have now, which is left over from the industrial age. We need to design our future. We need to think of what this new world should and could look like in every way. We have to be the designers, because without a vision, we have nothing. It will just
This lady is a certified TED Talk enjoyer. 100%.
continue to be fed to us what it is that we should be doing or how things should be. This is
autism synergy for this fiscal quarter. Me and the little guys board meeting. We need to find the synergy of autism in this fiscal quarter. We need to take a quantum leap and reach a real paradigm shift in the autism spectral analysis industry. I'm just saying, we can build it back better and develop an autism spectrum that works for the rest of us here at Little Guys Incorporated.
It's why you have to take back your life from all forms of government. If you really read the
Dude, I wish I could astral project and like see into this lady's house. I just want to like see what's going on in there.
Constitution, it's
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
not.
Did you? I saw this TikTok where the kid was like, he just watched Shark Tank and then he's trying to order a KFC. And he's like, no, instead of paying $6 for the chicken tenders, what I'm saying is I'll give you 9 shares of my business. So it's different money for later, not now.
What's going on here? But that's a different set of videos that we can maybe get into at a later time. But we have to start creating in our mind how we want our world to be and function and look. And unschooling is probably the biggest pivotal choice you could make in creating a new life that is not part of that paradigm. To end bullying, you got to end the place where the bullying happens. You have to stop doing the things that cause people to behave in these ways. And this is forced factory schooling. So, hello, this is the elephant in the room.
Forced factory schooling. Oh my god, dude. We need more GMOs. We need more GMOs. Okay, I want GMO branded desk.
It's not true that you have to send your kids to school to be socialized. Nobody needs to be ized. Kids do not need to be socialized. They need to...
Nobody needs to be ized. Being socialized is not being put into a factory to think a certain way. Being socialized is spending time talking to other people, developing your skills socially. That's being socialized. A kid can't appropriately socialize if you, the parent, are their basis of social contact.
to grow and learn and be natural and find friends in a natural way by following their interests.
Okay, I gotta be honest. How are your kids going to find kids in a natural way? Have you been outside? They don't let them go to the parks. There's no third place. We're all bowling alone, lady.
They need to be with their families. They need to be emotionally regulated and work at a pace that is authentic to them. And the only way to shift the paradigm is
I don't want to sound like a really mean person, and I really do. I unironically hope that her children are well and that they are successful. But her in particular, I don't care that you lost your home. I don't care that you broke your arm. Okay, I don't care. But Diesel, there's human traffickers outside.
to shut down these systems. So don't be afraid of your freedom. Be the
What percentage of these motherfuckers are just doing this as cope for their kids going no contact? Honestly, probably a decent amount. I have a feeling her kids may wise up one day. Or they will join the Portland Polycule. Or both.
change you want to see in the world today.
I don't care if your kids don't visit you in a nursing home.
And let your kids.
I think education reform is really great. Just not this kind.
Way. Go to unschoolia.com to learn how you can work one-on-one with me. Or
Yeah. Okay, $50 for every 20 minutes of labor you do? Sure. All right, let's cover a different mom. Yeah, buy my course. Dude, I'm going to do a course. Here's how to make a course to scam people out of other things. So here's another mom. She's a really popular one in terms of unschooling. Hold on. I think she... How to unschool correctly.
We have 52 days until I pull my child out of public school and start unschooling him. He will be in 2nd grade. But I want to share some things with you guys that I'm going to be doing to make sure that I don't fuck up his education or fuck up his...
I went to a Waldorf school and believed in gnomes till I was 13. Okay, you gotta elaborate on that. Did, you personally just believe in gnomes? Or did, somebody at school say, yes, gnomes are real? That's a really important distinction.
future. Some of you guys in my comments, not all of you, most people in my comments actually are homeschooling or unschooling, and I love that. We built this community of people, this community of women that really just...
This is another thing that I think is really, really problematic about this, okay? I'm going to be misogynistic. Making this a woman thing or an issue that it is something else other than an educational reform issue is going to keep this from moving at all. And because I'm criticizing it, you will dismiss all of my criticism simply because I'm a man. Okay? But I have experience in this, so I think my opinion is valid. And I got to be honest, there is a lot that goes into teaching outside of, being a parent. A parent and a teacher are different roles. Obviously, maybe I'll understand better if I ever become a father, right? But it's when you make it like that, that's one of those things where it's okay, in-group, out-group mentality kind of conversation.
Think the same, and I fucking love that. That's been my goal this entire time with this platform, is can we create a community of people that all think the same? And we've done that. So tell me in the comments if...
Can we create a community of people that all think the same? That sounds, I don't know, a little problematic, but what am I? Who am I to know? I mean, we here at Little Guys Incorporated. Diesel, this whole chat wants to breed you. Of course you'll become a father. I mean, of my own free will.
You homeschool or unschool, what are your best practices, your best tips, okay? So a couple things that I'm going to be doing are prioritizing to make sure that I don't fuck up his education and he learns the skills he needs to be a successful adult is lots of time outside. This is going to...
I like that they explain raising their kid in an unschooling situation the same way I explain free-range chicken.
allow his creativity to flow, letting children be children and not setting them in front of a fucking desk or a piece of paper or a book for 8 hours a day is the best way to get their creativity flowing. And that matters in life, especially when you're trying to do something that you love. I'm going to take him grocery shopping. We're going to start a garden.
Okay, I gotta be honest. Could you not do these things while also having your kid in school as well? I don't. You can do these things. You can do these things. Also, it kind of sounds like you have the luxury to be a stay-at-home mother. Okay? Do you realize that most parents work to, like, both parents are working? Okay?
Doing lots of gardening, lots of hands-on stuff to teach him these things, not just reading out of a fucking book, which is what's wrong with public school. So I'm going to also teach him about money.
You don't know anything about how public school education works, though. I gotta be honest. Oh. That was the philosophy of the Waldorf school, too. And I didn't learn to write till 5th grade. Are you fucking kidding me? They teach you history through a lens of fairy tales and fiction. They legitimately taught us that gnomes were real and a huge force in history. Oh my god. I'm sorry. They taught you gnomes were real? That is fucking bananas. That I actually don't even know how to understand. Did you know that Waldorf schools have a higher rate of anti-vax parents, meaning that measles and mumps and like those diseases that we've gotten rid of have a higher probability of coming back in Waldorf schools? I need to look that up in a second.
Goes into grocery shopping. Okay, I'm going to teach him how to be frugal, teach him how to shop for the things that he needs.
So you're going to parent. None of what you've described requires that your child be taken out of school.
Not always what he wants. I'm going to teach him how to set boundaries with people. I'm going to teach him how to create.
Okay, chat. What the fuck? This is literally something you could do as a parent and not take your child out of school. They haven't justified the existence of taking a child out of school. It's not like your child sounds like a gifted musician, like he's in 2nd grade.
Friendships and connections with people. I'm going to teach him how to bake and cook. Do you know how many adults there are right now that 30, 40 years old don't know how to fucking cook? Which is crazy to me, okay?
Yeah, I agree, but this is not the solution. The solution isn't my kid can cook, but he can't read.
You can't blame your parents for that shit no more. You can learn, all right? We're also going to be doing lots of sports. So he'll be in any sport, every sport that we can possibly think of, because we will now have time to do so. I'll be taking them to the aquarium and zoos and learn.
Dude, if I was in 2nd grade, this would sound great. Oh, mom's taking me to the aquarium. Mom's taking me to the zoo. Mom's taking me to soccer practice. Mom's taking me to the grocery store. I don't have homework. Oh, Jesus. I ain't gonna learn shit. Oh, what happened in 1776, little Jimmy? I don't know. Little Timmy, when did we get the 5th Amendment? I don't know. Little Timmy, what is your rights as an American? I don't fucking know.
Through life experiences, and that is what unschooling is. Now, a lot of people think that unschooling.
Dude, people, we are in such a technological dark age. It is absolutely insane. You couldn't predict this shit. All right, motherfuckers are like, we got to go back to the tribal way of living. Boss, I can't answer those first 2 questions. I'm older than you. Don't do me like this. It's the American Revolution.
And people will say, unschooling is giving your child autonomy over what they want to learn. And yes, that is true. But if you sit there and say, what do you want to learn today? And your kid goes, I don't really want to learn today. It's not your job to say, okay, that's fine. No, we're learning something today, but what do you want to learn first? Okay, that's how I'm approaching it. I'm not going to give my child full autonomy over dictating his entire education or his entire
Is this Alex's
like
mum?
little
Considering
big life,
how
because
useless
if he
is.
chose
Oh, you know, I think his were more absent.
he would choose to do nothing. Okay.
So is she doing homeschooling then? She's doing homeschooling Waldorf schools.
But I will have lots of stuff planned out for us to do physically, hands-on stuff. and
I
believe this
can't
is
believe Waldorf schools teach you that gnomes are real.
going to be the best.
So did they like sit you guys down at one point and go, actually the gnomes are fake? Or did you just figure out that gnomes
Access
aren't
to
real?
all knowledge, yet we know nothing are.
I've probably ever done for my kids, and I'm really excited. I'm gonna record everything. So if you're not following me, you definitely should be, because I am documenting the fuck out of this experience, because I have been feeling in my heart for a very long time that public school is just not, it's just not it. It's just not. And
Okay, why is like public school isn't for my child, and so they take their kid out of any single type of curriculum, right? Like there are other options between no school and different varieties of school. They keep up the illusion. Like it's a huge sin to acknowledge that gnomes and fantasy isn't real. Okay.
And I think that a lot of you watching this, you probably feel the same way. So I'll take the lead. I'll do this. I will lead you on this. Even though I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, I know that I'm gonna figure it out. And I trust my instincts and what I feel is best for my child over anything
Every time, oh boy.
else that the government or society has to say about it. So make sure you tap that.
I don't, okay, you know what? Here's one of those red flag things. When somebody's like, I know how to raise my child, okay? And I'm not saying that the government should tell you how to raise your child. But every time somebody says, the government shouldn't tell me how to raise my child, it's always like code for them saying, I don't want to vaccinate my child, and if he gets tuberculosis, he gets tuberculosis. To be honest, I trust a feral wolf to raise my kids better. They don't let you acknowledge technology either. We weren't allowed to have a smartphone, laptops, or TVs at school or at home. I didn't know any of these things about a Waldorf school. Do what you love. Do you love what you do for money? Oh, does she live in like a van? What the fuck? Sure. What little side hustle you make into a big business? Lady, you're sitting in a car. What do you... You know she's got an OF. All right, I didn't want to say that. But you know what? I'll say it. She probably got an OF. Her thangs be tanging. I'm not gonna lie. You were all thinking it. Do you think she lives in a van down by the river? You know, the crazy thing is, living in a van down by the river used to be a sign of being like impoverished, but now it's the sign of being fabulously wealthy. Why not buy a house? Oh, she's living in a van.
If you're so rich, why don't you just buy a house? Because I'm not fucking stupid. Some of you are stuck in a relationship with somebody that doesn't even like you because you simply bought a house with them. Something y'all might not know about me is that I know exactly what I want out of life. I'm not just doing what we're told to do because we're
dude, sovereign citizen, dude. She is a sovereign citizen.
Supposed to do it. I bought an RV instead of a house because I want to travel the world.
Oh boy, I want to travel. Okay, we gotta. This is a sovereign citizen Andy here, and yeah, this is a nice van.
We have been renting instead of buying a house because I don't want to be tied to a mortgage. But let me go even deeper.
Okay, all right. Listen, I don't want to encourage the skyrocketing housing market and say that it's actually a good thing, because it's not, and we should build more homes and reduce the cost of housing so that way more people can be homeowners. Yimby, yes, in my backyard. But like a house and a mortgage is probably one of the best asset classes that a person can buy. It is one of the biggest determining factors of like generational wealth. Being able to own property that your family owns in perpetuity forever and then is passed down to your children when there's a finite amount of it. So the cost and value of it is extremely high. Like, Jesus Christ, why the fuck would I want to buy a house? I don't know, almost like it's a good investment vehicle. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that that's okay. And yes, there should be more housing. But like, Jesus Christ, lady, are you stupid? It's not about being tied down. You're like setting up for your future.
I don't want to buy a house that was built for someone else or buy a generic ass build in the suburbs. I hate the suburbs, and people think that, oh, that's freedom. Oh, you've made it. Baby, no. There is different levels to this shit. I lived in the suburbs for 3 years, and I promise you I will never go back. I bought an
What the fuck did you live in before that, dude? Dude, you must have been living in the backyards, dude. Girl, you get your credit score up. Yeah, a stable living environment is also super important for children. Yeah, let's say you live in an RV and you go wherever the fuck you want with your kids. Guess what? They're not going to be able to develop long-lasting, healthy friendships. She's an MLM girly. Oh, idiots. I forgot one of the best dramas. The your rhythm teacher was in a polycule with another teacher and a parent, but then the lesbians teamed up and left the male teacher homeless. What am I even supposed to say to that? Oh, yeah. Well. Someone doth participate in a MLM. Okay. Yeah, so this is all like ketone conversation. So this is this is an MLM, become a promoter. And let me guess, the way that you build an income in this business is by getting other people to become promoters? Yeah, and those really fancy RVs cost as much as a house. Yeah, but they depreciate in value too, which is bananas.
RV because I want to travel the world. And in the next couple of years, I'm going to be buying some land and I'm going to build my own house on it. And it's going to be beautiful and gorgeous and big. And I'm going to own it. There are...
That's not the only thing. I'm sorry, chat. I couldn't help it.
Too many of you in debt right now because you are so worried about what everyone else is going to think. Or trying to prove that you've made it in life by buying a house in the suburbs. Newsflash, owning a house does not make you rich, especially if you're paying a mortgage. Having the freedom to do whatever the fuck
you actually don't understand how finances work at all. Oh my god. Not safe for work. Do not open on stream. How's she doing an OnlyFans in an RV? There ain't enough space. There ain't enough space in that, dude. You know what? I would. Dude, who the fuck is funding this lady's lifestyle? Okay, probably simps, but... Wait, how many followers does she have? Hold on. I can't show you guys any of this, but... There is hole. She does post a hole. Let's see. Oh, she only has like 1,000 followers. She ain't making bread from this. Who the fuck is funding this lady's lifestyle? Because she's flying everywhere, getting her hoo-ha out. Oh, her husband totally is like a welder or some like really well-off tradesperson or something. He just gives a look. He is in this too. I have just seen his penis. But, you know, her thing be dangin'. Also, where the fuck do you do this if you live in an RV? I gotta be honest. Because there ain't no way you filming a sex tape in an RV and got like 3 kids. Bro's gotta be deployed. But yeah, she ain't making... She's got what? Nearly 1 million followers on TikTok. She's banging out like 20K views in a vid. Yeah, she ain't making a living wage from this. So I don't know how she's funding this lifestyle.
When I first started this, I had a goal to make $2,000. I just needed to make $2,000 a month to get rid of my sugar daddy and to stop cleaning houses. With
I think we know now, guys. Yeah, but the MLM stuff, most people don't turn a profit on that. But I think the sugar daddy answer is a lot easier. Yeah, it's a sugar daddy, huh?
in 9 months, not only
It's always these people that are like jobless neats with no discernible skills whatsoever that are like, I run an MLM scam.
Make $2,000. I actually doubled that, and I earned my paid-for car, luxury car. Now listen, I'm not sitting here making income claims because according to the income disclosure, the average person makes $11 a year. I'm sorry, $11 a month. And I don't know about you, but I am not average. And so yeah, the income disclosure is correct. If you are average, if you can't be consistent and you can't show up for yourself, this will not work for you.
All right, somebody who does nothing day in and day out is like, you got to be consistent. You got to grind. This is literally girl bossing, hustle bro stuff. This is hustle bro content for ladies, dude.
If you do not have some kind of internal desire for more, this is not going to work for you. And if you do not have the desire to become the best version of
lady who is not living her best life is like, here's how you can live your best life. I know how it works. I'm her. Oh, uh-oh. I'm back to not doing OnlyFans. What pisses me off about this is that she egged on all of those women, telling them that it was about confidence. And she would say, if you didn't approve of her doing that, you were just jealous. But now she doesn't want to do it. So those ladies that did follow her should do what now? She must not have made too much money off her OnlyFans classes. No fucking way she was doing OnlyFans classes. Dude, I swear to God, these hustle fucking people are just... I'm sorry, just get a 9-to-5, bitch. Holy shit. Like, you can't be, like, egging on other people to be like, get an OnlyFans, you'll become a millionaire. And then you can't commit to that. And now you've just let a bunch of people hanging after taking your class. Like, that's not only is that not fair to those people, who's to say you didn't, like, make people feel social pressure in order to do that? You know, like, I've said this before, but if you, like, want to do sex work, you got to actually want to do it. If you feel like you can make a lot of money doing it and that you feel like this pressure to do it, probably don't do it. Okay, you should do it because you want to do it, not because you want to make a lot of money. All right, because all that is done already. If you wanted to make a lot of money, you should have showed up to OnlyFans before anybody heard about it. Okay, I'm sorry, right? But like, dude, the first time she did this, the first time they did this, she said she didn't want to sell her body on the internet. And then that's the thing. I have seen this before. This exact thing I have seen play out before with other OF creators. Because there's a lot of people that got into sex work post the pandemic that don't really have the want or like the care that people who worked in traditional like porn industry had. And so they just showed up for like a quick buck, didn't get it, and then all of a sudden turn around and start to like scold other people for it, right? And said she didn't want to sell her body on the internet, but yet they tried to do it for a second time. I would be so embarrassed with myself. Google her name. Her kids will have so much trauma from her. She can't stay consistent with one thing. Wonder what the next gimmick will be. We all said this would happen. Again, what a shitty parent. And her man ain't no better. She's all over the place. Poor kids. What is this like an anti-Reddit? Holy shit, dude. Yeah, I talked about it on a prior stream, how they're like guys that market themselves as managers, but they're basically pimping for like OF chicks. And it's just like, dude, there's like a lot of people who are trying to fleece young ladies to do OnlyFans. Like, you should do it because you want to do it. You shouldn't do it because you feel like you can make a lot of money or like any of these other things. But like, there are a lot of people looking to fleece gullible, young, impressionable ladies to do OnlyFans. It's just crazy that she's doing this hustle bro shit when she's just being like, when basically all of this is her being financed by like some guy. I've seen his penis. Is he not exactly who you thought he would look like, right? You ever see like what's that country pop singer? What's the country pop singer that all the white folk be listening to? It's like you ever hear the song where it's like to the 1, to the 2, to the 3, to the 4. No, it's a guy. It's a guy singer. It's a guy singer. It's on the tip of my tongue. Fuck. What's the fuck? Where the hood at? Yeah, sure. Sure, it's where the hood at. Workout, okay. Not to be that guy, but you are in an RV. Just like go outside. Why are you buying the expensive Peloton treadmill? I don't even know how you fund this kind of lifestyle and then just be basically jobless. Like, I don't like that's outrageous. Self-made entrepreneur. You are not a self-made entrepreneur. You're not. I'm sorry, but is a sugar baby the definition of a self-made entrepreneur? Because I would like to meet that person that has somehow become a self-made entrepreneur through sugar baby status. There's okay, one of the biggest red flags I ever see when it's like hustle bro culture creators is like when you put entrepreneur. Every time I hear like an entrepreneur Andy, I'm just like, oh boy, here we go again. All right, now where's that one's not okay. Where's the one with the face tattoo? Okay, all right, here we go. So this is I wrote a book on healing extreme trauma without therapy. Free book, guys. Free book. Free book. No therapy. It's right here. By Mommy Onami. This definitely has music in it. Yes. Imagine going to therapy for 10 years on a few simple root chakra issues. This is just people discovering Christ, but with like extra steps and going like, guys, my root chakras were out of line. That's why I was gambling. My gambling addiction was cured when I went to a Reiki healer. Money loss, self-sabotage, fear of the world, good times ending, guilt, paranoia. Oh boy. I can't even tell you guys how much you should go to therapy. Therapy is really helpful. Like, I don't... Like, the people who are like, therapy doesn't work for me are, like, getting in their own way, okay? And you should try a different therapist, all right? But to say that, like, your root chakras are out of whack and that therapy is fake is, like, bananas type shit.
Opposed to answering this question because So I used to be really opposed to answering this question because I felt like if you were too lazy to look at the website in my bio, then you were too lazy to come to my school. But the function of a teacher is...
Oh my god. This is like shot no chaser.
to make work easy to understand. So if you're new here, my name is Mommy Onami, and my husband and I run an occult business school together.
Oh my god. An occult business school? Really? Okay, honey.
Where the reviews speak for themselves.
Hey, mommy. I know you say / they say you can't thank a teacher in 10,000 lifetimes, but thank you. The teachings you passed down have changed my life.
I've been doing this since
There is a sucker born every day.
And the reason why our business does so well is there was 3 huge problems that we solved. The first one is that one-on-one coaching is way too expensive. And so we found a way to bring the one-on-one experience to...
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, helping me get there. Best $200 a month ever spent. Worth every penny. You know, one-on-one coaching is too expensive. $200 a month.
The masses at a really low price. So instead of spending $20K for a coach, it's $200 a month or $2,000 for a year to study with us with a lot of personal support. At the moment, we have 400 students.
Wow, there really is a sucker born every minute. I think I'm actually going to crash out. $2,000 a year? That is literally the cost of a college class. You're paying a college class to get an occult business school? Okay.
We solved is that what works for your coach is not always going to work for you. So everything that we teach is...
At the racetrack, the ritual is already life-changing. The Enneagram has unlocked parts and a way of thinking in myself, all just in a few days. Anyways, thank you for the work you've done to bring this to a space for those that to learn it. I'm already eternally grateful. Okay, holy shit. These people are... This is mental illness.
Objective, backed by objective studies, question-oriented.
Backed by objective studies. Okay, sure it is.
And finally, if you can't grow, if faith without works is delusion, it's pointless to hire one coach for your spiritual world and one coach for your business world. We bring both of these together in every workshop. That's what we do, and you can always see that in my website. Thank you. So I used to be...
Yeah, cult survivor skinny dipping story time. Hey guys, I left one cult and then I joined a new one.
So you guys know me now, 7 years out of healing my shame. Happily married, 3 kids, self-made millionaire, buying my vacation.
Dude, I am fucking about to crash out, chat. I'm about to crash out. Okay, I have never... These are the people that are... This is ruining the fabric of society. All right? I don't know another way to put it.
Until everything's going well, but what you didn't know was me before. And the truth is that for the majority of my adult life, I couldn't stabilize. Up until I left the cult at 13 and just started running. Up until I was 28 years old.
I left the cult at 13 and then I found a new thing to be crazy about.
I did not know where my rent was coming from ever. My relationships were an absolute mess. It was actually like...
You know, the thing is, I always think about when people have all these crazy life stories and then they're like, I'm a millionaire. I wonder if it's true, because sometimes these people will say a story like that and then it ends up they're just like, you know, some fucking yuppie people who wanted to be fucking annoying.
How fucking codependent can I be? I couldn't ever date anybody.
Does it say damaged on her forehead? What is that forehead tattoo?
Wasn't an addict, because if they didn't need me, they might leave me, and that was the only way that I knew love could be expressed, like somebody totally needing me. The idea that I could be worthy just the way that I was, or that someone could be interested in me just for the way I was like completely impossible.
Dude, she could get a brain-eating... Wouldn't it be crazy if she got a brain-eating parasite in that running water, dude?
It was super rare that people would find out about my messed up childhood, but when they did, they would always go, wow, you're so strong. And this drove me crazy because I'm not strong. I'm just not dead yet. I didn't ask for this. I'm not in the back like flexing my muscles.
These people feel fake. This feels fake. This actually, I cannot believe that I've discovered all, like, I haven't really discovered it, but I just looked up unschooling on TikTok and then clicked on the first 3 that looked annoying. Wow, look at that beautiful art she's making. Stealing the first draft of my second book with 2 kids. Finishing the edit with 3 kids. Develop the chap. Okay. All right. I'm sure you guys believe in nothing but crazy shit. 3 books on protecting yourself from black magic. Oh, boy. Oh boy, dude, mommy content is dangerous, man. If you're a mom, don't get any of your educational content from TikTok. Just throw it away. Throw it away. There's too many of these people out there, man. I know we got some moms in the chat, bro, but this shit is not healthy. I do believe this lady is an anti-vax, but I can't find anything on it right now. Can you create successfully without an Enneagram? I don't even know what that is. Why enlightened people love cancel culture? Sure.
Teachers, I love cancel culture. And I would never recommend that anybody fights it because it's on brand for where we are right now. And trying to cancel culture is you asking the collective to descend in consciousness just because you are. I was introduced to spiral dynamics from this book, and then I
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
hired an integral theory coach to like really help me get it.
I hired okay, I was broke and running and I had nothing in life. I hired a coach that taught me about the spiritual woo-woo of the Fibonacci sequence. Where's the before? And like the before is like I was broke and had no money. And then I was learning to become spiritually enlightened. I hired a coach that helped me with fucking sacred geometry. Like, where did that money come from? Were you choosing sacred geometry over eating a meal? Like, poor people don't immediately rush to getting a life coach. They rush to, like, getting a roof over their heads.
Basically, spiral dynamics allows us to track the progress of the collective consciousness. Now, even though you might not like where consciousness is going, collectively it's always moving forward, but it's possible for the individual to descend, like we saw a lot of people get really political in pandemic and then descend into religion.
The only way to sleep at night after this is by imagining that it's made up tiny internet people on my phone and turn it off, meaning they do not exist.
Yeah, this is the stuff that kind of scares me because I've came across, I will admit, I have people in my life that are like this, and I always have to go like, it's not socially acceptable to make fun of you in person. And then I just hold it in.
Collectively, you don't need to worry about the collective because it's always moving forward. And this is why I love cancel culture. Cancel culture is a function of the green meme, which is a layer above capitalism and 2 layers above religion. And we don't go away from cancel culture. We need to go through cancel culture. We go through it by recognizing all the good it's done. Like people like this would still be tweeting about love and light and have everybody worshiping them if it wasn't for platforms created through things like cancel culture.
I don't think cancel culture put Diddy behind bars. I gotta be honest. I think that might have been the feds. I don't think it was the feds came first and then the Diddy. I'm not, the not religious, just spiritual crowd. Yeah. She also sounds like a victim of I went through the pandemic and now I'm nuts.
Culture. The green meme is about tearing down old systems. And
dude, he was canceled so hard he went to prison. That's crazy.
We start to learn in order to go forward.
That's not canceled. That's the law. What's the XQC thing? Hold on. Let me pull it up. Literally this XQC.
You guys are naming people that are like sex offenders and out there racist and fucking like fucking people that promote harm and shit. Yo, that's not canceled. That's the law. That's the fucking law. When you do a crime, you go to jail. You're not canceled. You're a criminal.
Yeah, rare XQC win, dude. God, there's so many of these. I gotta find these moms and all this.
Forward that some systems are necessary and some are not. Beginner teachers tend to obsess about how the collective needs to change instead of...
All right, I gotta be honest. This lady, I'm actually, okay, I like to consider myself a pretty good conspiracy theory expert. I really like this stuff because I like to make fun of it. And I actually have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. It actually, this is that incomprehensible. So clearly I got to get caught up on my sacred geometry.
Recognizing they have problems. But when you get stronger teachings, you're no longer worried about anyone but you. Like
God. What was Nikola Tesla talking about? Okay. Dude, and my favorite is where people are like, Nikola Tesla was always this like woo-woo guy, right? Or like the conspiracy theory that Nikola Tesla was somehow stealing from an ancient Eastern European land, Atlantis. Orgasmic birth prep. All right. Okay. Sure. Shannon Blake, dude. You guys remember Shannon Blake? The fucking Lockheed Martin hippie girl, dude? What would QAnon do? I don't even know. Like, this lady is something else. This is a woo-woo lady to the max, dude. This is a woo-woo lady to the max.
a conversation that I can't stand is the like, social media is so bad for you. Get rid of it. Run your business without social media. Because I've tried.
You can't run your business without social media. But for the average individual, yes, social media is bad. This is ruining our brains.
And I've seen so many people do this. Like,
my mom tried the O-birth shit. They're insane. Surprise, it didn't work.
Shutting down.
Well, didn't know that.
The easiest, most effective, wide-reaching limb of their company and demonizing it because they can't set a fucking boundary. And I understand personally.
Most terminally online person you know with the most esoteric beliefs possible is like, just set a boundary for social media. Literally, why are we like on two moms saying that now?
How hard it is to set boundaries with social media. And I also understand that when I take in too much social media, it really stunts my creativity. I find myself just replaying things that I've seen as opposed to creating something new. Like, I understand all of that, but it's not about isolating this or that. It's about finding a way to have this and that. Social media can be used for input, which for me is not great.
Yeah, you don't understand what those people are complaining about when they complain about social media. You're just ignoring that because you're trying to be philosophical.
Social media can be used for output, which for me is great, or it can be neutral, which is just the awareness that there's an audience of people that want to look at your stuff. It can be
Does it say gentleman on her forehead? You see that?
beneficial if used
It says like gentle or something?
correctly. But for me personally, like,
Or like gentle broad?
if I have something I need to create, I can't have the app on my phone. I have to post it, drop it, and walk away. But I'm never entertaining this idea of shutting it down again. Boundaries are something we learn throughout our whole lives. And Don't sabotage your business. I've just seen way too many people do it. I've done it. Thank you.
Okay. If you're a manifesting generator, you don't have ADHD. How to turn your side hustle into a main gig. This is a religion. I just want us all to know that this is a religion, right? There will be a study 500 years from now. They'll be speaking Yabagooby, right? And they'll be talking about the Hubadugla, right? And it'll be these people that they're talking about, okay? At the Church of fucking Fibonacci sequence. Okay, people don't think it is, but this is a little something more than that. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh boy. I can't tell what it says on her fucking forehead. They don't think it will be like that, but yeah, she's onto something. She's onto a really big paycheck. I think I don't have any more patience for this tonight, chat. I do not have any more patience for this. I'm all unschool mommed out. I hope some of this was interesting or like educational, or maybe you're considering unschooling your child and I've convinced you not to do that or something. But that was rough. That was really rough. Fuck. Super unfun. Thanks, Diesel. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna go, I don't know, fucking cry. Oh my god. We learned a lot about each other today. You haven't seen the worst ones. Throw some of it in drama talk if you're in the server. Fucking do that. But yeah, good night, guys.